We will get through the uncertainty of a new administration in Washington. As I said, we've done this before. We've been to this. And
isn't necessarily the best place to start. In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction. That is
you condemn white supremacy. And he fumbled around, didn't say anything. I said, how about the Proud Boys? And he said, well,
Ronald Reagan was 2 months into his presidency when John Hinckley Jr. blew a $20 million about blowing up the White House.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
I want to take this message to talk to your viewers real quick about the story and the conversation we need to have now. The BOP is wasting lots of tax dollars in frivolous spending, and it's
And as you can see, I am definitely not a professional. I will continuously have audio problems because, well, this is a learning curve for me. So if you're able to hear me now, hopefully let me know in the comments. We are going live with day 5 of the LA riot. Continue in LA. National Guard is on the ground. The Marines have been deployed. And just when I thought that things were going to get better, it seemed like LAPD had a pretty good control on it last night. The riots are continuing. They're gathering in the streets. They're starting to block traffic. And of course, Mayor Karen Bass, blaming Trump, blaming MAGA. It's all our fault. And they continue. So what we've been doing the last couple nights is just bouncing back and forth from different people, streaming what's going on in LA, getting a perspective and sharing in the comments and giving some opinions. We talked about last night on the stream this website that is just popped up, called nokings.org. And nokings.org, I guess the name speaks for itself. It's just a liberal temper tantrum on a website. And they are calling and planning for mass protest on June 14th because, God forbid, America's come together and celebrate 250 years of the greatest army on earth, because essentially that's what June 14th is about for us. But when you have a bunch of American-hating street rat commies out there, they can't have that. The American flag and pride there within is a trigger to them. So they're planning on taking to the streets all across the nation. They telegraphed where they're going to be on that website, nokings.org. If you guys want to take a look at it, we've been monitoring it to see where these mass, mostly peaceful protests are planning throughout the country. And they're everywhere. We'll just the question we now ask is, how much steam will be behind them? Because without their slush fund, USA, to funnel all these left-wing lunatic gatherings, we're hoping and praying as a nation that maybe their steam is not as hot as it was before, as we saw in 2020. But if you're anything like me, You're watching what's unfolding in LA, and you're asking yourself, is it coming my direction? And the short answer, honestly, I hate to say it, but I think most of you that are tuning in right now would agree. The short answer is yes. This is going to be the Democrat playbook before the midterms to cause massive chaos across the country, blame Donald Trump for every action that he takes to try to squash it. And as we're seeing play out currently in LA, and they're going to blame MAGA and the MAGA supporters and all these ghost Nazis that don't even exist anymore, that they're so petrified of, that they can continue to mount that as an excuse to do their BS and their bullshit. And we know how this plays out. So I'm going to go and take you. Without any further ado, we'll start bouncing back and forth, watching the chaos unfold in LA, and we'll break it down together and see what happens. But this should get interesting. We got some action over here. A lot of these things are streaming with no sound at the moment, so we'll find something with sound as we go on. And if you could take a moment, for those that took the time to follow the new page at The American Rise, you see it here on the screen. It's up in the title in this post. Take a moment to click that and follow, and get this party started. Hope everyone's got some popcorn, because the theatrics will begin. The left is always good for them. We'd like to have a little fun while we're breaking down the left's lunacy. Yesterday, we posed a question that a couple people answered, some good answers. I want to see if anyone has any new ones for today. Name one thing in the comments Democrats do better than Republicans. Think about that for a second. Give me one thing Democrats do better than Republicans. I'll put your responses up here on the screen as they come through. Welcome, everybody just joining. We got some kind of building here. They're making a lot of heavy police presence. And as we've seen with the National Guard in LA, they're simply there to do one job and one job only within their realm of constitutional ability. They're there to protect federal assets. LA's elected officials have failed to do so and proven that time and time again. So Trump sent in the military to protect federal assets. We are not going to allow what was allowed to happen in 2020, as we saw important with federal buildings being burned, the elected officials doing absolutely nothing about it. I'm pretty sure Trump is on guard and taking defensive action this time to not allow the shit show that we saw ensue in 2020 for the fentanyl Floyd riot to happen again. So we got something going on. It seems like there's people there encircled. You've got them laying on the ground. You got the little Gretas out there gluing themselves to the ground. And I will say, I have witnessed time and time again massive restraint and professionalism from LAPD. Almost in my personal unprofessional opinion, because I am nobody to put myself in the shoes of an officer down there on the ground and all this, but it seems like they're maybe a little too nice. But again, just my opinion. You know what they say about opinions. I'm going to start going back and forth and looking for different streams that are producing something as we get started with our live coverage of the LA shit show of liberals whining and crying because they didn't get their way again. Wonder why. As it turns out, calling everybody a fascist Nazi for 4 years was not a very good, productive, winning strategy. But don't tell them that, please. We saw some things in Santa Ana, California pop off last night. Couple opportunistic predators trying to loot, rob, and steal because the opportunity arises, and that's what people like to do. All right, I got a different shot of the same thing we're watching. I'm going to bring you over there so we're not We're on the ground in this next one and not an aerial view. All right, we're now on Crux Live. You hear the non-lethals going off. A lot of my J6 brothers and sisters know that sound. They'll never forget it. You know, and I want to be very clear. I'm not championing this. I don't want to see this. As much as a shithole LA is, and a Democrat cesspool of just American-hating trash baskets that have overtaken that city, it doesn't negate the fact that it's a great American city, that still have great Americans that live there, that are going through this, that do not agree with this, that are subjected to this Marxist bullshit. And I used to be one of those that say, well, why don't you just move? And come on, guys, it isn't that easy for everybody. But it doesn't change the fact that is still a relative question. I have to confirm the report. I've seen something in Ireland where a Muslim immigrant, I believe, raped a child, and citizens took action. So I got to confirm the story, but I'm going to be reporting on that later on the American Rising show. For those people joining in on YouTube over there, we see you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, please. We're a brand new show, just getting started. Good job, buddy. Now, I'm assuming this is a federal building they're around, although I do not know for sure. I'm only saying that because of the this Sallyport-looking thing and how guarded it is. It looks like some kind, and the fact that these trash baskets are paying attention to it means it's some significance of some sort. Hey, hey, ho, ho, the Democrat Party has got to go. I truly believe that we're at the point as a nation that as Americans are watching this unfold, every single one of these bricks that are launched at law enforcement, every single piece of property that's damaged, every store that is looted, is creating another MAGA supporter that it becomes a bomb to get this country back on check. Oh, here we go. Fighting, he's apprehended an individual. That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear me say this a lot. Protect your homes, protect your families, stand up for your neighborhoods. Pick and choose your battles wisely. Don't fall for the bait. Don't get involved in other cities that you can't save. Be careful, my patriot brothers and sisters, and assume that this could be a trap for you. That guy's name is Chris Christie. That sucks for him. God. You always know these liberal movements are weak from the start because they usually have some like weak woman screaming on the bullhorn leading the charge with a bunch of beta vegan males behind them struggling to throw a 3-ounce rock. You know, say a prayer for the people of LA, the good ones. You know, it's kind of hard to not just assume with all these Democrat communist controlled cities like LA and San Francisco, you know, we lump everybody in there into one category, and it's very easy to do. It's human nature, but it doesn't negate the fact that there's still good people there. Even though the Democrats have ruined these great American cities with their failed philosophies and policies, they're still part of America, and they're still great cities that make America great. We don't have a city and politician problem. We have a people problem. We have rotten cultures within our culture that despise us. Oh, they're so poetic. The creativity is just exploding out of them. You know, I'm interested in some people that may have contrasting, opinions. I'm not, I have my opinions, but I don't like living in an echo chamber. If anyone in the comments thinks that Trump overstepped his boundaries by deploying the National Guard, let me know. I'm not going to argue with you or call you wrong. I'm just interested in knowing how you feel and why you feel that way. We don't have to agree on everything to get along. If anyone on X can take the moment to share this out, retweet this out, as we follow the LA riots and bounce back and forth from different streams, seeing what our men and women of law enforcement are dealing with in LA. Maxine Waters has been seen on multiple occasions doing what she does best, which is fueling the fire. That is one ignorant woman right there. Maxine Waters, who used campaign funds to give to her own daughter, I think in the upwards estimate of $250,000. Wonder whatever happened with that, Miss Waters. Thank you, Mary, for reposting the stream. Much appreciated. If you woke up this morning and wanted to know what you should be in life, be Mary. be merry and repost this stream. As we continue along together to follow the liberal shit show that is the LA riots, or excuse me, mostly peaceful protest. I would hate to misgender and mischaracterize such a thing.
Searching for a reliable used sedan?
Here we go.
Shop the
Capitalism
area's
at its
best
finest.
selection of affordable vehicles at unbeatable prices.
Yep, it's really hard. You know, you want to have dialogue. You want to talk to the other side. You want to find common ground, because as far as most conservatives are concerned, it is important to us. But you cannot have dialogue with groups of people by saying they're pro-communist, Marxist, that the very existence of capitalism is a threat to them. You can't argue, you can't come to a dialogue with people that think your existence should not be. And that's what these commie progressives pumped out of these college universities are trained to do. There is no common ground. It's like saying, you know, oh, this guy, okay, he was convicted of molesting a child, but he's reformed now. We could probably let him be a babysitter. No, absolutely the fuck not. You can't. Bobby, I'm assuming that's my brother Bobby Geeswan. At least I hope it is. I could be wrong there. If I'm wrong, let me know. But Bobby, thank you for reposting the stream. And I caution my fellow patriotic Americans to, you know, it's fun to see the left go down. It's fun to see them get their faces smeared in their own shit, and it should always be that way. But let us not get so desensitized to the animalistic behavior of the left to where we just accept it as normal. I'm not championing this. This is heartbreaking, but it is also motivating. It motivates me to come on here, be a pillar to share this shit out so America can see. Because again, I will say, I think every brick these animals throw is one more Trump supporter they create. Yes, I do. I think the common Democrat man and woman has the rationality of a 16-year-old girl who probably just hit puberty. They're emotional, irate creatures that need to be supervised and not left around sharp objects. All right, I'm going to begin to look for other coverage, see if we can find anything going on.
Water for the eye.
I love it when you actually go out in the street and confront these idiots. They run to the police that they want to defund. Always got to love the hypocrisy of the left. All right, I got some comments. I think this is live too. We're going to come over here. Christy Nome is in.
Every authority under the Constitution to send these National Guard under Title 10 into these communities and make sure.
All right, so they're not. There we go.
That law enforcement officers are protected, that they can continue to do their work without fear of being injured or killed or disrespected, and that they can go home to their families at night. So I'm incredibly proud of the president for activating the National Guard and for sending in these Marines, because these Marines are specifically trained to meet the need that we have on the ground in LA right now. And Governor Newsom has done a disservice to the state of California for many years. The people there should never elect him into a leadership position ever again. He
The
clearly
governor's a
cannot
nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent.
Terrible
When it
guy.
comes to his railroad that he's building, where it's like 30 times over budget, nobody's ever seen anything like it. Now it doesn't even go to San Francisco and LA. It's way short of it. After years of work and overruns like nobody's, those contractors are some of the wealthiest people in the world, I guarantee you that, because that money goes to those contractors. They just did a number on the wallet of the people of California. That train, you should look at that train. That is the greatest. I've never seen cost overruns. I've seen cost overruns and great incompetence over my life. I've never seen anything like that.
Mr. President, these protests obviously started in reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
Yeah.
And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen. The auto pen really did. I mean, the people, whether it's Lisa Monaco or whoever operated the auto pen, these are criminals. The people are criminals that allowed these criminals into our country. And I don't think that Biden knew what the hell he was doing. I don't think he even knew about it. But when they opened up our borders for the whole world to come in, yeah, we're going to get them out. We're getting them out. We're starting to get acknowledgement from the courts that, you know, there's a system. They come in without courts and they go out, they want trials and everything else. I think that's starting to work out now. Judges are starting to see what a terrible situation it is. Many of those people that you saw on television last night are criminals that were allowed into our country by Biden. And they want to stay, and we don't want them. And they come from jails, and they come from mental institutions, and they come from all over the world, not just South America. And we're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, you know, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country. But I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here. We did a great job. The people, you, Christy, and Tom Holman, and all of the people, Pete Hegseth, all of the people involved did an amazing job. We stopped a disaster. And it looks like a planned disaster, this didn't just happen. They had weapons, they had tools, they had everything you needed. I mean, they were throwing iced water in bottles, in glass bottles, at officers and at soldiers. These are, you could not use the word insurrection, but you could also use the word, these are very dangerous people, they're bad people. They were met with heavy force and they folded. And they may be there a little bit tonight, they may be there a little bit, but it seems to be getting less and less because they're going there and they're met with a very heavy force.
Turn your pastime into your full-time. Your person.
Down the rest of it, what's left over. Because the other fire was started because they wouldn't allow water into LA. They wouldn't allow water into California because they had it all shifted out to the Pacific Ocean. And I turned it around. And I told them to do it in my first term, and they didn't do it. We had COVID, and they didn't do it. And I told them to do it. We did it in the second. Now we have billions of gallons of water flowing down. But Newsom should have done this. He's an incompetent man, an incompetent governor.
somebody was passing them out, and I said, grab them.
Yeah, I have no idea how to operate those live stream chats. That's all Enrique. So blame him. He did it. It always seemed like something wasn't right with him, though, to me. All right, we're going to start looking for some other shiznit. I think they're doing some arrests or some shit. No, Enrique is no longer waiting for AAA, but he was not successful getting his car from outer space. He has to go back there tomorrow and retrieve it with a truck because it's electric. Woogie, woogie, woogie. Somebody on YouTube. That's hilarious coming from the uneducated right who stormed the Capitol again. Cope harder, MAGA clowns. Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. God, I love those people. I hope they never change. I'll tell you right now, though. I'll tell you right now. I might have to stop wearing my MAGA hat. Straight up. Because before I went to prison, I would wear my MAGA hat and people would look at me hard and want to start shit and talk crap, and it was a lot of fun. I miss it. And now I wear my MAGA hat everywhere I go. It's like, hey dude, nice hat, fist bump, yeah, like your hat, bro. Not the fucking response from the public that I was really going for when I put it on. I miss the crazy cat lady Karen screaming at me at the top of her fucking lungs. It's just it's sad. I'm gonna miss her. I wonder if these are deportation arrests or just regular commie shitbag riot arrests. Not try. Oh no, he looks like he came from UC Berkeley. This guy right there, probably a college professor with a 19-year-old girlfriend. To those of you that have taken the time to share this live stream out, I am most grateful. To those that have not, be like the ones that did. Just do it. Don't be Nike though. We don't. This is a commie-free show, the American Rising. We don't support anti-American companies like Nike. All right, we'll look for something a little more entertaining. Okay, we got some commie shitbags doing something with the police. Let's go back over here to Crux Live. Looks a little more entertaining than this shit show. Again, I'm not a law enforcement officer on the ground, but, you know, just an observation, please, anyone, this is my own take on it, but if they're firing, I go back to January 6th, and they started firing those projectiles on a crowd that was far away and not a threat, and it didn't
This is your
help.
brain when you're struggling
So,
to focus.
are they
And
really
this is your
doing
brain when
the
you're in
right
the
thing
zone.
here?
But get
But again, I'm not them. I don't see what they're looking at. So I think the days of telling cops how to do their fucking job is over. Band pastor, what's up, brother? Enrique and Ethan. I don't know Ethan's status. Enrique was not successful getting his car, but he has to go back to outer space tomorrow to get the car, but he's back. He hasn't slept. He's not very happy. Hey, Barry, this is Barbara from Vero. Hey, Barbara, how are you doing, sweetheart? Glad to see that you're on here. We're just following the liberal shit show party in LA, wondering when it's going to spread its disgusting virus across our beautiful nation. And I think we're gonna. I'm hoping that a lot of this these liberal poopy parties are going to be not like we saw in 2020, because I think that by them exposing USAID and all these little Maxine Water funds, you know, for her county, I don't think they're going to be able to fund these commie street trash animals. I don't know if they're going to get steam, but June 14th, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm going to encourage you to go take a look at nokings.org. That is a Marxist commie little group that is planning mass protests around our beautiful nation on June 14th to protest Donald Trump celebrating the 250th birthday of the greatest army on earth. So, yeah, that's going to trigger the leftists, and they're going to plan for protest on June 14th. So while we're hoping to have some hamburgers and hot dogs and be a bunch of uncultured crackers throughout the nation, they're going to terrorize us just for existing. I pray for my patriotic brothers and sisters that day. Protect your families, protect your homes, but don't take the bait. For those of you that have taken the time to follow me on my X page that is brand new at the American Rise here on X, I really do appreciate it. Hit the screen. If you see it up there in the title, you can just click on it and shoot me a follow as we grow our page to be a vocal thorn in the ass of anyone that supports Marxism at the Warboy Studio. Band pastor. Yep, that's good, man. I really hope so. I really hope so. I have a feeling that they're not going to have the money to do what they did in 2020. But I will say that I seen footage myself too. There was somebody out there today. This is getting good. Oh no, I think this is the crap we saw already, guys. This is a rerun. We're going to go find something live. There was somebody out there today in LA handing out these face shields, these ballistic-proof face shields, and they were all matching, and Walmart sells them. They're about $48 a piece. So there's something going on with funding already, as we expected. All right, found a little hot spot right here with the commie trash bags blocking the highway, or attempting to. So we're going to go on over there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, take the time to follow at The American Rise. We are growing, and we can't do it without you. All right, so we don't got no sound. But here you go. You got a staging area. You got, I'm going to say it again. It does appear from everything I've seen over the last few days covering this and following this, LAPD isn't fucking around, and I've seen time and time and time again them act like extreme professionals in the midst of all this commie chaos. So, kudos to them. IK9 Vero Beach, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Share this stream out as we grow and follow the commie chaos in LA, hoping and praying that it doesn't spread across our purple mountains and our amber waves of grain. I love this country, ladies and gentlemen. We're the greatest country on earth. You know why? Because you can have your opinions about the people in charge, albeit wrong, and not end up in some prison cell. Unless you support Trump and Joe Biden's in office, but we don't have to worry about that anymore for now, do we? A lot of look at them hit the car, of course. A lot of Mexican flags, seen some Palestinian flags throughout this, Venezuelan flags. But there's one flag that seems to be a little absent from all their vocalization of their anger and frustrations. Wonder why that is. Lady A360 Air to Walmart is helping out a lot. I didn't do the groundwork. Somebody else did it, but I confirmed it. And somebody was on video yesterday, I believe it was, that was passing out these ballistic fake shields. And Walmart sells them. I actually think I might get one. I think they're $48 to $60.
Give me something to show.
And yeah, they had boxes and boxes of them.
Let's go back to the.
Bobby, good question. And the funny thing is, no, they have not implemented a curfew. There's been sections of the protest the last 2 nights that they will deem it as an unruly and unlawful assembly, telling them that this gathering is illegal, giving them the ability to just regroup and go somewhere else, which we've seen them do exactly that. So why are they not implementing a curfew?
No, nothing
That's
like
a good
that.
question.
Pushing on the bridge.
Okay, so commie trash bags have stopped the bridge. I believe this is the 10 bridge, they were calling it yesterday. Don't quote me on that. I've been to LA once a long time ago and was not impressed. I'll tell you what, though, if I ever decide that I have a fetish for shitting on the ground in public and getting addicted to fentanyl and crack, I'm going straight to LA. Skid Row sounds like the place to be. Fortunately for me, I have this thing called Jesus. I don't got to worry about that. Yes, Bowser sure did
Not really.
implement
They're
that
pretty much
curfew that day.
standing their ground there on the overpass, right at the detention center. You can see LAPD with the skirmish line continuing to keep them kind of boxed in here. I'm sorry. Say again, Robbie. Gotcha. There's another group that is on the move coming down, I think, Main Street. These are some of the stragglers from earlier. All of this group, remember, started the day at the detention center, at the federal building, and after that dispersal order has kind of splintered off into different groups, and they are now basically marching peacefully, by our observation, throughout the downtown areas. So they're kind of meandering, zigzagging their way through this area, all in the same general vicinity. This happens to be probably the largest concentration. At one point they were split into 2 or 3, but I think after they were cleared out of the south side of the detention center, they kind of went around and then conjoined again. And now this is pretty much the large group that is coming up Spring Street. So that's Spring Street and 2nd Street. You can see they do have the street fully shut down. Again, this is not a permitted protest, and an unlawful assembly was already declared in front of the federal building. Whether they make an effort to break this group up or when that's going to happen, still yet to be seen. You'd like to probably see it, and I would expect it to happen before the sun goes down.
All right, so you got them going back to their vehicles, which I'm assuming are serving as some kind of blockade at the moment.
Okay.
All right, I got some city official here live blaming Donald Trump here in LA, so we're going to go listen to this Marxist trash basket.
There is no precedent, and this also appears to be highly illegal.
And Rockland Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley spoke out about the protests in LA on the floor of the House last night. Here's what he had to say.
The scenes we are seeing in Los Angeles right now are absolutely horrifying. And
Thank you, Band
California's
Pastor, for the
radical
follow.
Political leadership has done everything possible to usher in this chaos.
And we continue to follow reaction to the recent events unfolding in Los Angeles. On Monday, both Democratic and Republican state lawmakers held news conferences addressing the protests in LA and President Trump's use of the National Guard. ABC 10's Becca
Which
Hobbett
is not
has
illegal.
their reaction.
This federal government, they not like us.
That's Democratic Assemblymember Tina McKinnon of Inglewood denouncing Trump sending the California National Guard into Los Angeles amid protests against federal immigration raids.
We have a simple message for current President of the United States. Stop. Just stop.
On Monday, more than 24 Democratic state lawmakers, many from the LA delegation, gathered to voice their opposition to Trump deploying the California National.
I'm going to come back over here because they're making a stand on this bridge to get these guys off the bridge. So go back over here. Looks like they're going to make some push. As you heard them earlier, they have declared this as an unlawful assembly. I mean, standing in the middle of the fucking bridge and the freeway should be the first indication, but it is LA. So yeah, it looks like they have confronted the crowd. And I do know from another feed, there is a group of officers on the other town that are all getting in their cars. I'm only assuming here that they're heading this direction to back up these guys to make some kind of push to get these trash basket animals off the fucking bridge. So let's hope that is the case. And you know, you're going to hear me mention this a few times throughout the while we do our little early evening coverage of the LA riots about June 14th. There's a website, nokings.org, that is pushing and promoting for a bunch of, let's just call it what it is, riots across the country, or as they call them, counter protests, to protest Donald Trump celebrating the 250th anniversary of the world's greatest army, our U.S. Army. So prepare for that on June 14th, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you're going to see, hopefully, with USAID exposed, they don't have the slush fund to funnel their Marxist trash bag little temper tantrums, and we don't see what we saw during 2020. But make no mistake about it, this is going to be the Democrats' one of their last-ditch efforts to disrupt the America First agenda, especially before the midterms. So I think civil disrest and their
45 minutes?
Constituents and tentacles in the media are going to help fuel the fire, much like we saw again in 2020. So I don't think anybody watching this that what I just said comes to any fucking surprise. Salty Patriot, thank you for the repost. And yeah, I believe you're right. I hope Gavin is cooked, you know, but it just seems like with these trash bags, these Marxist trash bags, the more disgusting they are, the more the left likes to keep them in power. But Gavin Newsom is for sure a certified trash basket. All right, so they're leaving. But as we've seen, when they go off and they trail, they start another problem somewhere else because their existence is a fucking problem. But I digress. Start looking for some new. I just got word on the police scanner that something's going down somewhere else. I'm going to try to find some coverage.
What street is that one? When you turn on to, I think it is Cesar Chavez. I just want to double check. Yeah, it is Cesar Chavez, I think.
All right, so I got some footage of this group, basically almost like we're watching now, but a little bit more in front of them, and they're coming up to an intersection.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock. Chris Christie up in Air 7 as we continue to follow a protest taking place in the streets of downtown LA. A dispersal order has been given in front of the federal building, but dozens and dozens, upwards of 100 or two, are still marching through the streets here, taking a turn onto Cesar Chavez, waving flags and peacefully expressing their frustration with ICE. Reporting live from Air 7, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
His name's Chris Christie. Can you imagine that? We got JPack over on YouTube watching the stream. Says, where else on earth may I go? Enter another country. May one go? Enter another country illegally and then demand to be treated better than said country's own citizens. You're absolutely right, JPack. And you're seeing this play out over and over and over again. And that's why I believe personally that the America First agenda is so essential for our survival, because it needs to instill the ability and the urge for Americans to say, you know what, damn it, I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud of this country. I love this country, and I refuse to apologize for its existence anymore. And you know what? If you don't like it here, get the fuck out. We, the people, need that encouragement again, and that's what the America First agenda does. It's not just about putting America first. It's about Americans having a sense of pride in their culture. because that's what the Marxists have spent so much time trying to strip from us, and make us think that we're not worthy, that we're not the greatest country on earth, that America hasn't single-handedly propelled the world 5,000 years in advance, because it has. And you know what? I'm proud of that. And I think everybody here needs to be proud of that. Or you know what? I go back to what I said a second ago. Pack your shit and get the fuck out of here. That's just me, my opinion. And on that note, thank you to Enrique Tario and the new War Boy Studios for giving us a platform to have an opinion. And take the time right now, if you can, follow me and my personal show here on the War Boy Studio at The American Rise. I am Barry Ramey, the host of the new show, The American Rising. Thanks for being here as we watch LA and Democrats do what Democrats do best, which is destruction, hatred, chaos. JPAC, out of the other 194 countries on Earth, which ones have open borders, please? I will wait. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But you got to respect the manipulation and propaganda game of the left, that they're able to convince anybody, for that matter, that open borders are a good idea. I talked about this on my show the other day, the Cloward and Piven strategy. These are two socialist shitbags from here in America that wrote the book openly right here for everyone to read it. They didn't hide who they were and what they were about. The Cloward and Piven strategy is a playbook designed to collapse American capitalist society and replace it with their version of a socialist utopia. And this is what they've been able to indoctrinate a lot of our kids with over the years, because we were asleep at the wheel. But the Cloward and Piven strategy, I'd encourage everyone to take a look at that. I might cover that again later on as we do more shows. But opening the borders is one of the many steps of the Cloward and Piven strategy. Don't believe your lying eyes, people.
Great ideas can come from anywhere.
Except for a liberal. All right, go look for some other streams. What we got going on here? All right, so yeah, there's calls coming over their radios, these people on the ground, the organizers, to meet at this building. So I'm assuming that there's other groups and pockets around LA that have got that call, and now they're all coming here. You see the police out in front, so obviously this is a state or federal assets, probably the immigration courthouse. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But they've already been asked to leave this area once today. This is where they were this is where they were already removed from as well. All right, West Republic says, I think he's the one that, was he the one that, yeah, no, that was someone else. What about the Latinos that voted for Trump and they are proud to be Americans, but now their family members are being deported? Latinos are a very big part of American culture. They helped define it. They contributed to it. And I don't, for me personally, I don't call them Latinos. I call them Americans. My fiance happens to be of Puerto Rican descent. She's a very proud American. And, I will tell you this, I'm pretty sure that if they knew what they were voting for, if they voted for Trump, because Trump was very clear about fixing the immigration problems. There's a lot of Hispanic Americans that their businesses are suffering. Their kids that they've put in the work, they've helped build this country. Their jobs, their companies are suffering because of the immigration influx. So they don't really care where they come from. They just want their American dream to be protected because they fucking earn it. So these Latinos that you speak of, I believe, are few and far between and almost non-existent, because any Latino or anybody that voted for Trump, they knew what they were voting for because this man was very clear about it. So I don't think there's going to be a statistic that really supports your notion, but I'm willing to have that discussion.
Temple.
Z. They could shut it down in 15 minutes if they wanted to. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely 100% right. JS, I'm assuming you live with your parents. One word, all capital letters. He says, fuck ICE. Real original, buddy. Haven't heard that one yet. But no, we on this show, we support ICE. We support the deportations. Want to see more of them. And God bless America, buddy. Just get ready for 8 years of J.D. Vance. All right? You little commie turd, you. John Steele over there on YouTube. Hope they deport her. Deport who exactly? It sounds like we might be in agreement here, but I don't know. Let me know what you're talking about. Weebus Maximus, 100% true. Our schools, prisons, hospitals, and low-income housing are all overfilled with these illegals, making life worse for citizens, immigrants, and natural born. 100%. We're sending all this money to Ukraine, and we're giving all this money to these illegal aliens for healthcare and school and money on fucking Visa cards, on the taxpayer dime, while our urban neighborhoods are suffering for years on end when they need investments in their schools and infrastructures. So, I'm getting exactly what I voted for, brother. Proud of it. Trump's doing better than I thought he was going to do first 100 days. How about that? Yeah, I guess the riot. Yeah, well, they just probably they stole a bunch of Fitbits last night from the Apple store or whatever, so they're probably just testing them out.
That's right, Mark. This is part of that crowd that's fizzling out on that overpass that you just saw. They have made their way up Los Angeles Street. They have joined another large group over on Temple, and they just passed the federal building. It appears this group of there's at least several hundred people in this pretty large group peacefully marching, and it appears this is the group that is making their way over towards Grand Park for that rally that's set to take place this evening. So you can see them coming down Temple, coming up on Spring Street underneath that tree. I would estimate about 300 to 400 people. So a growing crowd as these different splinter groups kind of join up again after a full day of marching around downtown. Of course, there was a moment where things got tense on the freeway. Many of them were shoved off of the freeway back up to the street level, and now it looks like everybody is rejoining here at City Hall. Guys, back to you.
Dr. McMurphy, thank you for the follow. Yeah, to be very clear with everyone, if anyone that doesn't know my story, I did get into a physical altercation on January 6th with a Capitol police officer. I don't condone my actions. I wish I would have done things a little bit differently in sense, but that would not negate or stop the fact that I show up that day. It was only after 35 minutes of watching cops beat and attack people, elderly people, tear gas them, that were trying to get away, that weren't trying to do anything, that were trying to show them they were peaceful, that enough had enough. I have not seen that in LA whatsoever. In fact, I've seen the exact opposite from what Capitol police officers were doing that day on January 6th. But, I don't try to convince anyone that, to see my point of view. They can hear my story, choose to hear my truths and believe them or not. I could give a fuck one way or the other. So, yes, but to your point, Doctor, the left is constantly showing how hypocritical they are to their very own belief structure. I mean, we're talking about the party that on one hand glorifies feminism, yet puts genetic men in women's sports. We're talking about a group that cheered for the streets burning over the death of Fentanyl Floyd, but cheered for the death of Ashley Babbitt. They stand for nothing at the end of the day, and you have to look no further than the executive owner of the new Warboyd studio, Enrique Blackface of white supremacy Tario himself. I mean, this is an individual that just loves his country, knows communism, has a family history connection to anti-communism, can smell it in a drop of water from 100 miles away like any Cuban for the most part can. And, he's labeled as such. I mean, look, we're talking about Caitlyn Jenner. When Bruce did this to himself, the left cheered. But then when he came out for Trump, they denounced him. And then when Caitlyn said that I don't believe men should be competing in women's sports, take it from me, I used to be a fucking male athlete, the left called Caitlyn a transphobe. The left doesn't stand for shit. And I don't want them to change. I want them to stay the same because a beautiful thing happened, and I think this is indicative of things that is occurring. And that's why I named my show The American Rising, because I truly believe I'm seeing it with my own eyes every time I go out in the field, counter protest and protest. I'm seeing the American Rising happening. I'm seeing people that were told, you have to vote Democrat. That's who you are. And they've done this their whole life, that are no longer drinking the juice. They are seeing through the bullshit. They're seeing through the propaganda. And we saw it on November 5th. The people that showed up in mass, that was not MAGA Republicans that won that election in that fashion. That was everyday apolitical, middle of the road Americans that were, or even Democrats that were like, yeah, you know what? I don't like this. I'm not doing this anymore. So I want the left to keep showing their ass. But my point was, the last time I went out to a counter protest to when the commie trash bags were protesting Tesla down here in West Palm Beach. And I drove up there, and a beautiful thing I got to see. I made a video. It's on my YouTube channel. I'll post it later. It was the most incredible thing. These two young, and for the commenter earlier, two young Latino, two young Americans is what they were. Proud Americans saw this protest going on. They were very young. They stopped and they watched, and then I kind of do security and watch people's backs. So I'm always monitoring people at these things. And I watched this young couple go into Walmart, and they returned about 30 minutes later. And the girl had purchased a big poster board. I heard somebody say something about and a pack of markers. And her and him sat there and drew up a sign that said Trump Vance. They drew it up with their little markers, and they stood there at the protest with all these left. We were really outnumbered, by the way, which doesn't happen often down here in South Florida, but nonetheless, they stood there with their Trump Vance on. So I went up and I interviewed them, and I said, hey, I'm assuming you guys are just out of high school. And that's when they shocked me. They're like, oh, no, we're still in high school. Holy shit. So I asked them, why do they support Trump and Vance? And the young man was very, to the point, because I know the difference between right and wrong. I asked them about men and women's sports. They had a very strong opinion that it was wrong. There was two genders. And these are two high school kids that were able to see through the fog, through the Marxist indoctrination that they've been put up and subjected to in their schools, that saw through it and were able to tell the difference between right and wrong. So there is hope, ladies and gentlemen. Again, these were high school kids. So we're seeing this American rising happening. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I really hope that every single rock that is launched by the hands of these trash bags, these anti-American fucking parasites, I hope it creates another Trump supporter. And I think that it is. I really do think that we're seeing this, because if you were on the left, or if you were an apolitical person, you wouldn't look at this and be proud. You wouldn't look at this behavior for the last fucking 10 years and be, you know what, I'm proud to be part of this group of people. They represent me. And for the ones that they truly do represent, it's a fleeting thing. There's less and less of them, more and more MAGA hats. As I was saying earlier, I used to get harassed and people wanted to talk shit. And of course I would talk shit back, because that's who I am. And that's why I wear my MAGA hat. You guys want to talk some shit? Let's go ahead. Okay. Just don't touch it. But I don't get that anymore. It's all, man, I love your hat. Nice hat, bro. Cool. Fist bumps everywhere I go. I barely even get a negative look. And you know what? That's sarcastically joking. I kind of miss, the confrontation, but no, I don't. I think this is a beautiful thing. West Republic. You're right. You're absolutely right. I am very lucky to be here. And my ancestors built a beautiful country. And anybody that wants to come here and celebrate the American ancestors and become American and celebrate American culture, and I am all for that. I want that. But that's not what we had the last 4 years. So if anyone's upset about us protecting the moral fabric of our country, our culture, by deporting the people that Democrats let in, then they should be mad at the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones that allowed this to happen, not the Republicans. Okay. And we have every right to protect our borders. It is not racist to protect our culture. I am anyone that is American, that is a true American, whether they're born here or not in my time, I care not. If you love this country and you come from fucking Nigeria and you wave an American flag and you know the anthem and you know who Thomas Jefferson is, then you're my brother. All right. You can still be proud to be Nigerian, but if I see you hang that Nigerian flag above that American flag or don't hang an American flag at all, then fuck you. And that's the way it should be. But anyone that comes to America to be an American at its very core value system, I'm all for it. All right. So, and I know that most Republicans are. But if you're upset about what's happening, you should be really upset that the Biden administration and the Democrats toyed with these people's lives to try to create a political gain on their own behalf, because that's exactly what they did.
Now, no interference by LAPD, but of course the police department is keeping an eye on the situation. Reporting live from Air 7, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
I don't know what I'm doing to make people feel like shit. I guess, I'm not exactly sure what you're saying here, West Republic on YouTube, but again, I'm married to a Hispanic woman, so you just sound stupid right now, but it is what it is. She controls my finances because she's better with money than I am, and she's honestly, don't tell her I fucking said this, but she's smarter than me too. Hopefully she's not watching this. But I don't make anybody feel like shit. I love America. I will defend American values. I will defend American culture. I don't care what you look like, what the skin color is you have, and where you come from. If you celebrate and protect American culture with me, then you're my brother. If you come here and you're burning the American flag and you're supporting this chaos in my streets, then fuck you, and we are enemies until the very end. And yeah, that's all there is to it. It's pretty simple for me. I don't when it comes to people that hate America, I don't care what color you are. I hate you back equally. Carlos, I agree with you. I mean, the statement, I don't know what you're getting at exactly. I don't think people are being arrested for freedom of speech. After all, it's not January 6th. So, if you're referring to something specific, let me know. I'm willing to have that conversation. West Republic. I am all for Trump. I hate what the Democrats did with our country, but there is a way to deport. I mean, yeah, you have a very valid point. You really do. I do think, but the mess that Joe Biden and the Democrats have caused, what is the answer? It has to get done, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be pretty because they created this scenario. I do, and as somebody that grew up in Miami, white people, we're the fucking minority down here. This is a Hispanic fucking city. And, I will tell you right now, if you ever want to see pure American celebration, pure love for America, you go to a park in Miami on 4th of July. You're going to see nothing but Cubans and some Venezuelans waving the American flag, singing the national anthem. Most of them have served in the fucking military. That are playing country music and just loving America, eating hamburgers and hot dogs. It's quite the spectacle. But the reality of it is that the people that came here illegally are affecting all Americans, no matter who they are and what they look like. Their businesses, their children, their medical bills, everything is being affected. It doesn't matter where they came from. The Biden administration opened the border and allowed this to happen. And now it's time that we have to fix it. And fixing it doesn't look pretty. But I'm open to suggestions. If you have, if you think there's something that could be done better, if there's something that you saw that you really don't like, feel free to let me know. We could talk about it. Personal videos, nature, and others. Yeah, my mother's a first generation Russian immigrant. My father's dates all the way back to like Jamestown, but my mom's side of the family came from Russia. And my grandfather came here and joined the Navy and fought in the Korean War. and was happy to do so. He was actually hoping to go back and fight. It was USSR that he fled. He was hoping to go back there and fight, but he went to Korea. And I have a friend. I got to go to a friend of mine. She was from Colombia, and I went to her ceremony where she got her citizenship. And yeah, it was crazy. It was beautiful to see them have to know what the three branches of government were, what Congress was, what laws, how are laws passed. They had to know this stuff in order to get their card, and that's what it should be. Because if you import, I don't care where they come from, if you import a lot of people from different cultures and they have all these separate cultures that they align with, there's the only thing that creates a melting pot is melting into one thing. Having all these fractalized cultures come in here, you're just fractalizing America. And that's all by design. That's what part of the Cloward and Pivot strategy actually is. So that a simulation is so important, but the left has spent many years now convincing people that assimilating is racist, and they're wrong and retarded, and that's why their cities look the way they do, quintessentially. Okay, so Carlos says you want people arrested, but not Trump when he broke the law, right? Okay, well, what people are you saying I want arrested? First of all, because I don't recall saying I did. I'll stand correct. Let me know what people I want arrested and what law exactly did Trump break that you're referring to. We got to be specific if we're going to have dialogue, which I'm completely open to do. We don't have to agree, but we can have a civil conversation without name calling, which we're doing, and I love it. But yeah, let me know what you're exactly talking about, because I don't want to. If I have to fill in the lines, I'm just making up a story for you. Trump is the law. I mean, as long as he's putting the American people first, again, don't care what you look like and where you come from, as long as you are American. Yes, Bobby, true, fact. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for the Cuban people, except for Enrique. He's an asshole, but the rest of them are awesome. If you want to, I'm telling you, some of the most patriotic Americans I have ever been around are Cubans from Miami, hands down. Cartels don't have a refund policy. That's a fact. That is a fact. Yeah, Ryan, you want to go ahead and send me that video? I'll put it up here. I didn't hear about that one. I did hear there was some kind of violent action. I don't know if that was the same thing. Shot at LAPD with live ammo. Yeah, that is not good at all. That is not good. All right, I'm going to look for a different feed because it looks like these guys are going to refuel or something. All right, I found a little pocket of them here on Associated Press live stream. We'll go over there and take a little look, see what happens. got the California flag. You know, it's a shame because you look at a state like California, and California is truly a beautiful state. There is a lot of amazing, good people in California. When I was in federal prison for January 6th, a lot of I had several people. I can think of 7 right now off the top of my head of people that consistently wrote me for 3 years from the great state of California. Ugh, can't even say that. Great city, but nonetheless. And I've been through Northern California down the 101, and man, what a beautiful, beautiful state. It's not all bad. It's these Democrat controlled metropolises where they have Democrat city councils, they have Democrat mayors, Democrat, governors over the state, and they just become over time these cesspool nepotized, cronyism of buddy groups, that just destroy. I mean, they're essentially like, you look in Chicago, you know how many people served on city council with not only direct ties to street gangs, but actual gang members? You can't fix a city with a culture like that. And I'm not it's not a racial thing. I mean, to some extent it is, but as far as the politician problem and the corruption in politics, it's politics. It's politics. And because we allowed it to get that way. Oh, here we go. We got fucking Mayor Karen. Speaking of commie trash piece of shit. God, I can't stand her. She's speaking live right now about all the graffiti downtown. It's so sad. You're letting it happen, you fucking alien.
In downtown LA, avoid the area. Law enforcement will arrest individuals who break the curfew, and you will be prosecuted. Hundreds of officers from police and sheriff departments from across the region and state are working alongside LAPD through a
West Republic. Yeah, I'm reading your comment, and I mean, there's a lot of relevance to what you're saying. Yeah, my grandfather was Russian, but he was very, very against the USSR, very against. Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I do. We have to look at the bigger picture. And because, like, look, your parents came here and they're Americans now. You're an American. That alone in and of itself is worth protecting. And if we have a mass influx of illegal immigration to the likes we've seen the last 4 years, the beautiful American story that is your family is at risk. And for me, I'm not willing to risk that because, my grandfather came here, like I said, when he was young. He worked in the steel mills in Pennsylvania. My mom was a steel mill worker at 18 years old. I know the immigrant struggle. I do. It's pure Americana, but it's different. It's not what we saw the last 4 years. It's different, but they want you to believe it's the same. So we have these emotional attachments because overwhelming majority of Americans have some relation to the story you're telling. And I have a lot of respect, and I'm glad that we're having this, finding this common ground and having this dialogue.
The city. Some of the imagery of the protests and the violence gives the appearance as though this is a citywide crisis, and it is not. So who?
Yeah, see, John Steele, you talk about on YouTube says you talk about how wrong it is for people to just come across into the U.S. when Americans stole the land from Mexico and the natives who were kind enough to let American state settle on their land. Okay, John, I don't know if you're aware of this, but it is 2025. If you want to sit there and on your fucking couch in your computer and convince yourself that somehow you have to have some emotional attachment to a history that you have no control over and make people feel bad because that want to just live their lives and look to a future, the only thing we have control over is the present. But you want to sit there and talk about history, then why don't you do me a favor and frame it right? This land was not stolen. It was conquered. And that, through the course of history, since the fucking caveman in the Ice Age, is how humanistic behavior works. Okay? We conquered the land. All right? And you and I, had nothing to fucking do with it. I don't remember waking up the other day, calling you up and being like, John, you got your fucking musket ready. We're getting ready to head out to the fucking Alamo with Davy fucking Crockett. Get your coon hat. It's going down, buddy. That wasn't you and me, bro. You and me were figuring out what kind of fucking iPhone we want to get or what service works best for our cell phone company. You know why? Because the Alamo went down when it did. So don't sit here drinking from your fucking Starbucks coffee and your fucking laptop computer on social media, acting like America is so bad because bad things happened in the past. You know what else America did? America didn't create slavery, but America alone ended it for the entire world. America propelled the world 5,000 years in advance with vaccines, medications, with language, with things that people have never seen in this world, from weaponry to technology, things that better the lives of every person on this fucking planet. That's what America did now. So if you want to sit there and talk about how America stole the land from the Indians, you do that. Why don't you go live like the fucking Indians then did back then? Why don't you go take your ass somewhere and live like they live and don't enjoy all the fruit that America provides for you and everybody else around the world on a daily basis? All right. Take your Marxist, make you hate America crap to keep it to yourself, because you ain't going to get us over on your side over here. I love this great nation and I refuse to apologize for it because it's the greatest nation on earth. And if you don't like it, pack your shit up and get the fuck out. Thank you.
Public safety and emergency personnel.
Okay, that's good news. Danny F on YouTube saying she finally doing something of a curfew. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't implement that. I'm not going to pretend to know why. Whatever, but you know, that's good to know that happened.
We must act and we will act. We urge all Angelenos to cooperate with these public safety measures. Our shared goal is to protect our communities and return.
There you go. Legal is illegal. Deport. Yeah, everyone's saying they have all these attachments to the deportations of illegal immigrants. Well, I wonder what attachment Lake and Riley's mother has. Hey, Jocelyn Nungary's mom, how do you feel? Anyone care about how you feel? I do.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm here today not just as a council member who represents downtown LA.
No, Great Britain did not abolish slavery. Take a look into that. They never really got involved the way we did, but they did not abolish it. Western man abolished slavery with the Civil War, and it still goes on to the deafening silence of the left in Mauritania, Sudan, and Ethiopia. To this day, they're still trading in their kinsmen over there, an illegal slave trade. But you don't see anybody on the left with purple hair, 7 lip rings, and 7 cats complaining about that. No, they just want you to hate your culture, America. They want you to look at the past and say that you're wrong for living in the present because of what people did in the past. Like it has anything to do with anything. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with it. All that is by design is the Marxist strategy to make you hate yourself. And that's all it is designed to do.
From all over the city gather to peacefully protest. I support the right to demonstrate.
Make sure you subscribe. We're a brand new project. We're a brand new channel. Most of us on the War Boys Studio, we were in federal prison a few years ago. That is our story. A lot of people are going to love us. A lot of people are going to hate us, but we welcome it all. We are open to dialogue. We're here now. So this is our new project. Like, subscribe, share. We're on X, YouTube, and we're just getting started. So thanks for being here with us, and we look forward to the shit show that plays out over the next few weeks.
Someone's safe space, someone's home that's been violated. And it's happening in a neighborhood where working class families are just trying.
Lowrider. I like that statement. Yeah. That's it's so funny because we know this country has more black millionaires and billionaires than any other country on the planet, including most of the richest African nations combined. We sat last year 4 years while Oprah fucking Winfrey tried to tell you, the American people, that America's racist and bad. Yeah, how many billions of dollars has America gave you? And it's funny because you can't be a black hip hop artist unless millions of white of America buy your album if you want to go platinum. You can't do it. It's just not possible. So we elected a black president twice, and you have Supreme Court judges, mayors, governors, sheriffs, that happened to be black that were elected, and for the most part until DEI came along, because they were the right person for the job. So, but these Marxists like John Steele, they want you to sit there and think about the past so you don't focus on the future, because America has done so much for the world. It's incredible. And you have these college kids sitting there on campus hating it and just despising it because they're told that shit from their college professors. It is clear and utter indoctrination. And while they sit there and call you the MAGA people, the cult, the MAGA cult, these idiots are disowning their own parents because their parents had the audacity to vote America first. And they get this from their college campuses. And it starts by making you hate your past. If you hate your past, you hate your present, then you won't have a vision for the future. And that's what Marxism is designed to do.
All of this subsides is to repair and restore downtown Los Angeles, especially the businesses.
Yeah, that is true. America did pay $15 million to Mexico for California. Write that one in your Marxist history book there, John Steele.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Council Member.
I love how these Marxists cherry pick the information they want to present and never tell the whole story. The way the Western man, when they settled here, the way they treated the native and participating in slavery and segregation is bad. It's not a part of history that I'm proud of. Okay. If I could go back and change it, sure, I would, because it's morally incorrect. But that doesn't negate the fact that America remains the strongest nation in the fucking world that has done more for the entire planet than anybody else. If America's that bad, John, and we stole all this land and we're that evil, then why in the hell are we encouraging immigration? Why do you want these people to come to this bad, evil, racist land known as America? Why do you want them here? What, you want to spare them because you love them so much? Have them stay home. We're so bad here in America, right, John? We just steal things and conquer things and take it over. I mean, what has America ever done for you, John Steele, right?
Section of our city, because of the symbol and of the benefits it provides to everyone across Los Angeles.
John Steele says, I better open up a fucking book that you guys are trying to ban, bud. Yeah, see, you parrot these left-wing talking points with no merit, and that's how your whole party has become. And that's why on November 5th, you witnessed the great American rising like never seen before, because Americans were tired of listening to your pre-parroted Marxist propaganda. They actually did the research, and they realized they did open the books, John, and they realized you guys were wrong, and they voted for November 5th. But you keep thinking the way you do. I don't want you to change. I want you to get ready for 8 years of JD Vance, buddy. That's what I want you to get ready for. Don't change, brother. Don't change. This is the greatest fucking country on this planet. And if you think otherwise, get out. But we know you're too weak to do so. Probably too broke as well. Because instead of getting up and getting out and getting something and getting involved in the American dream, you'd rather sit there on your couch, eat Fritos, and complain about things you have no control over. I'll look into that, Evan. You know what? I don't doubt you, because I know that before we had a problem with it, I do know that UK had a problem with it. I do know that as a historical fact. But I'll take a look into that, broski. I appreciate you.
After the violence that took place last night,
I mean, even Queen Isabel from Spain, when Christopher Columbus returned to Spain, he brought slaves when he was supposed to bring gold, and Queen Isabel told him to get the fuck out of here because she was a true Catholic and did not support slavery. Another historical fact.
That question, yes. I'm aware of what's happened to my staff member. They're on unpaid leave right now. I hold my staff to the highest standards while I wait to see due process, and so we'll see the outcome of that. But I see that as separate and apart from a reaction to what our constituents want in the city and how
you haven't listened to your constituents in years. Shut up.
Has escalated between yesterday and the day before, and frankly, I admit my humility here and my beginnerness in that I'm new to downtown, but our downtown stakeholders have seen this multiple times over and had to basically develop their own strategies. And they saw the warning signs of how this could get worse. And they knew from past experiences that curfews have been ways in order to stem this. And
okay, so this is live with the mayor's office. Let's listen.
And it's but one tool that we can execute at this time.
Yeah, Mayor Bass, I know that you were referencing that there have been
And John, the only books we're trying to ban in the Republican Party are sexual books for children. But your party seems to think that's okay. So other than that, buddy, you guys are trying to ban To Kill a Mockingbird and other shit. You fucking leftists are retarded. But don't change. Don't change.
So there is not a financial estimate right now, unless Nella has one.
In the case of,
do you want to?
It's millions. In the case of some of the larger, retail stores, it's in the millions. But I don't know of the 23 what the total is.
And I think it's really hard to estimate the vandalism from the graffiti. It's just widespread. I know that you have seen it.
And as far as the Marines arriving...
Oh, I'm sorry. You did ask that question. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if you know, Chief. I mean, the bottom line is that we're not told. Basically, we have to operate on rumors. So rumor has it that there's 700 Marines that are going to come here. I have no idea what they would do when they would get here. Right now...
Oh, John Steele, you're Canadian. That makes sense. Yeah, because we want what you guys allowed to Canada to happen. Yeah, you just lost all credibility with me. I get it. It now makes sense. Yeah, you take that Justin Trudeau homosexual for kids stance and you keep it on your side of the border before we send Nebraska over there and make you the 51st state. You shut you Canadian, whatever. Get out of here. Look what you guys did to your country. It's pathetic. Weak men. Weak men.
Not communicated with the local jurisdiction as to when, what, how, why is really problematic.
Curfew to begin this evening, dusk to dawn.
8 p.m. tonight. 6 a.m.
I would be ashamed to be Canadian after looking, and it's sad because there's a lot of great Canadian people, like solid human beings, just good people. And what you guys allowed that country to become with that Marxist socialist scumbag Trudeau, it's sad, sad. You guys are weak men over there, I'll tell you that. But you just keep that sissy boy stuff over there. You need to leave us alone. We have our own problems. Fucking Canada.
So all of the freeway numbers are there. 110, the 5, the 10. Yes, and actually that's a broader...
Yeah, we know you're Canadian, John Steele. It's a shame. I'll pray for you. Betas. Beta.
That's why it's so important to let the people know this is not all of Los Angeles. If you put downtown Los Angeles in the context of the overall city map, you see how big it is. 1 square mile compared to 503 square miles.
Yeah, I'm seeing this with you, and it's not. Let me be clear, okay? There are Mexican Americans that have been here. Their families have been here since like the fucking 1600s or even earlier. All right, there are Mexican Americans that fuck it, take the goddamn word Mexican out of it. There are Americans who happen to be ancestry from Mexico that helped build this nation, that are very, very proud Americans, that are involved in our culture, contributing members to our culture. There's fucking Mexican like real American cowboys that are about as American as one can be. More American than me. I mean, cowboy boots and country music, and they can sing every fucking Willie Nelson song word for word. So these Mexican Americans that I speak of are every bit of Trump supporters, are understand how dangerous this illegal immigration problem would be. And it sucks because it happens to be their ancestor, their kinfolk. I mean, they're American as far as I'm concerned. But they would still be here fighting for the America First agenda if it was a bunch of beta male sissy boys from Canada flooding our border. They would be here fighting with us too because they understand that a sovereign nation needs secure borders. Okay, it's the left that wants to make this a race thing because that's all the left knows how to do. They don't know how to have civil, actual conversations about real things because they don't. Their goal is to destroy this country because they hate it. So they want to make everything about race. It divides people, and that's what their agenda is. So there's a lot of Mexicans that do love this country, and they're Americans, But yes, the ones that came over here have no attachment to our culture. They don't care if it falls, what happens to it. They don't give a shit because they're not attached to it.
The wildfires, were out. The president made sure we had ample resources with the Army Corps of Engineers, and it was
I don't even know if this is a troll, but probably not knowing the left. Everybody has a right to live here. We are all immigrants. Go Kamala. If that is first, if serious comment, please don't change. You are perfect. I love you the way you are. Never forget Ottawa. Yeah, look at the Muslims over there in fucking Canada. Look what they're doing over there. They want to talk about immigration. You just keep that Canadian crap over there. And I'm sorry to all the Canadians that are actually real patriotic people that understand the socialist Trudeau agenda over there, what they've done to that country, that agree with every word I'm saying. You're my brothers and sisters too. Canada, 51st state. Let's go. Activate the fucking Nebraska militia. We can take it overnight.
And the idea that the president took the power away from the governor to do this it was really just unacceptable. But Chief, did you want to, if you want to?
Thank you. To that issue, we have a protocol in place that we use, and when we are dealing with something like this, where it takes the resources away from our regular patrol duties and ability to provide the service we do, we mobilize that.
John Steele says I should read a history book. Yeah, that's good. You go back and you look at the depth and the volume and the richness of everything you've had to say. You are the epitome of just a liberalized moron, beta male, weak testosterone production. Your wife probably does everything for you because you can't make a fucking decision because you're a weak-minded individual. And the things that you post, your rebuttals, they're of nothing. They're just little phrases and talking points from liberalized morons and weak men like you. Yeah, read a history book. I've read plenty of them, buddy. But you just keep going with that orange man bad, one love, open borders, hippie bullshit, and wonder why your country looks the way it does, and why what you consider a leader, what you look up to, a Justin Trudeau, is the epitome of what makes you a weak, spineless male that I'm sure no real solid woman has ever felt safe around. You're a coward.
Officers being overwhelmed and you need to get into a position where you can make large-scale arrests, and that you are considering
30 Ron Veach says 37 subs, a couple emoji faces, you human fecal shit. Okay. Sounds good. Cool. Maybe give some context, I guess. I don't want to prejudge, maybe.
In this case, the 7-county area.
Marco Robert on Facebook. What great Ravi's MDF. You don't know anything about culture. Dude, wash your mouth before you talk about immigrants. Dems and MAGA Republicans sucks. Okay, well, I'm going to get you a thesaurus, Marco, because your grammar is terrible. Wash your mouth before you talk about immigrants. I got to wash my mouth after I talk about them because it's disgusting. Yeah, I think you meant watch. I'm not talking about immigrants. I'm talking about illegal people that entered my country illegally that now got to go home. We voted for that on November 5th. You're seeing it happen. Get some popcorn and watch the show, Marco. My mom's family is fucking immigrants. You moron. God, I love the left.
Probably more specifically,
Chief Chow, that's okay. Blake Chow from Office of Special Operations. So just like our Department of Operations Center across the hall, when we get into a emergency that needs to be managed, the EOC can be pushed up to a level 2, and that means all the other city departments that work for the mayor.
Las Vegas in the house. What's up?
Coordinate city response to anything that's going on within the city. That's what level 2 is.
Let me also just add to your question that you were asking. Now that the president has taken over
Evan Tech. My sister's boyfriend it lives in Northern Ireland, and I just had an eye-opening conversation that really got me to once again appreciate living in America, even though our First Amendment is under attack. Because he informed me, I wanted him to come on my show and talk about the immigration issue over there, and he can't. He can't, because if he gets caught by the government talking about politics, he will lose his job, license to work. He could lose everything. They'll take everything from him for just making a comment on politics, and that's Northern Ireland. And I know my brothers and sisters in the UK are going through the same thing over there. It's heartbreaking to see what's happening there. I pray for you guys. You have a friend in us. It's really terrible, but yeah, they will throw you in jail for making a comment on the politics or immigration issue and the issues facing your country. It's very sad. Free Tommy Robinson.
That curfew will run from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. in the morning, and it will cover the areas between the 5 freeway to the 110 freeway and from the 10 freeway to the merger.
Okay, Roblox preppy. Yeah, I mean, I do agree. Canada has great things about it, but I don't know if you live there. If you do, please let me know. But the free healthcare system that you're speaking of, I have interviewed many Canadians recently, and it's not what it's made up to be. It could take you months and months and months to get a surgery scheduled. Even it might be medically necessary, you can wait in pain for months and months and months to get knee replacements and hip replacements. So the Canadian healthcare, it's a facade they're selling us. So. And that's coming from Canadians. They're very upset with their socialized medical program. It's not what Bernie Sanders told you it was. But nonetheless, yes, there is great things about Canada, but weak beta men that vote for socialist and, the dress and drag in front of children and celebrate that kind of liberalism that they do. A lot of men have become in Canada. That's a problem. That's a systematic problem for the survival of Western man in general, is these feminized men. But Canada has grabbed it and just ran with it, man. I mean, it's just it's sad. And there's some tough Canadian dudes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to crap on Canada. I can guarantee you most normal Canadians are agreeing with me. And so. Yeah, West Republic. I am in South Florida, and I can promise you, I know a lot of immigrants that love this country, that are valuable assets to this country, that are true Americans, that have become American, that have learned the language, that have learned the history, came here legally, opened up businesses, and they're Americans. They're not immigrants anymore. They're Americans. That's not what we're seeing the last 4 years. That's not what was designed to do. It was designed to collapse the system and create future Democrat voters.
Pedestrians and motorists, but in any event, they are marching peacefully through downtown. My presumption is this group, in all likelihood, will be making their way, or at least many of them will.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it looks like it fizzled out there, David Y on YouTube, from what we've seen previously. Makes you wonder if that USAID money, they're not able to fund their propaganda. You're a beta dude, Andy H says. Good one, Andy. Where'd you get that? Was it that I just said it? And your is you need an apostrophe with the E there. That's you're not, that's not what you're, but no. Juan, I'm with you on that, bro. I'm telling you, I have met so many fucking. I hate saying Mexican American. I hate dividing us like that. I met so many proud Americans that happen to be of Mexican descent. I even hate saying it like that. That are true Americans that have contributed to this culture historically. I mean, I'm talking generations now that are patriotic as fuck, that are the epitome of true Americans. And yes, and I agree with you 100%. Every group has bad apples, and it's up to us to be responsible enough to be able to separate the two. Because yes, Mexican culture, as far as Americana is concerned, is American culture. There, like I said, there is Mexican cowboys out there that know every fucking word to every Willie Nelson song you ever heard. All right, looking for a new live stream now. Fucking Canada. Oh, Lordy. Man, Karen Bass don't look like she's doing so good. I mean, I can't, from a human aspect, I'm sure she's under a lot of stress and pressure, but I'm surprised she's not on vacation in like the Caribbean somewhere.
That was so fast.
All right. Oh, were you guys watching that the whole time? Look at me, the fucking professional over here. All right, let's follow this shit show for a second, see where it goes. Rob R, beta, beta, beta. Yay, buddy, good one. Rob R says, loser. That's a good one, bud. You keep it up. I'm going to put that on the fridge with using these alphabet magnets with all your other fucking pieces of art, buddy. This is a fact. Why wave a Mexican flag? If it's so great in Mexico, then go fucking live there. This is an excellent, logical point that you raise. It's not racist. It's logical. But these weak beta males on the left, they'll try to make you feel like you're racist for saying that because there's two words that I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that do not belong next to each other. Those two words are liberal and logic. Liberal logic. It should be like a fucking magnet. They repel each other. The opposite ends of a magnet. They like repel each other. There is no such thing as logic within liberalism. You want me to give you proof? Queers for Palestine. They're retarded. Hamas throws queer people off of fucking roofs. And you got Queers for Palestine. This is the left, ladies and gentlemen. This is the opposition. These are the ones that want you to think that you're a racist, bigot, liar, loser. Because you don't agree there's 86 genders and that kindergarten shouldn't be exposed to drag shows. They want you to think that you're the fucking weird one. Yeah, good luck. If this was a riot, then Jan 6 was a rebellion. Jan 6 was the day the Fed set up a fake insurrection to throw a bunch of Trump supporters in prison and stop the guy from ever being president again. John Rucker in Clearwater, Florida. What's up, my fellow Floridian brother in the free state of Florida? If Kamala was in office, this would never happen. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's because they wouldn't be funding it on purpose to try to create discourse before the midterms. This is all operational. This isn't organic. And anyone with more than 4 brain cells that don't play freeze tag like every other fucking leftist libtard, they're able to see that and they know that this is exactly what's going on. But now that we've uncovered that USAID slush fund, they don't think they have the monies they had before. So you're seeing the left fizzle out with their little stupid antics. He hates saying they have Mexican ancestry. No, that's exactly what I did say they have. If you listen, you go back. I hate saying Mexican American or Hispanic American or Black American, White American, because it plays into the communist Marxist agenda to fractalize with identity politics and create different groups of Americans instead of allowing us to unify under one America and then being proud of our cultures in which we came. That's exactly what I said. Was highlighting their Mexican ancestry, but you listen from a jaded progressive left mind frame. So that's all you hear. So, but you can't help you. You do not represent America, says Rob R. Okay, well, that's just like your opinion, man. God, I love these leftists. Yeah. Well, I would imagine West Republic that there's going to be a huge vetting process involved with that, because that was our problem with the open borders. There was no vetting process. While the Biden administration was telling you, the American people, you needed to get a vaccine, they were letting all kinds of people over during a COVID pandemic with no vaccine. So thus, once again, showing you that they have no moral fabric in which they stand. Lean like a cholo, for sure. What's up with the fucking socks underneath the knee? Is there like a thing? Does anyone know about that? Wearing sunglasses inside. Idiot, Rob R says. Man, you're such a prophetic and poetic person. The depth of you is just so rich. I love it. If you don't say something worth of value, Rob, I'm going to stop putting you up here. I'm trying to help you out there, buddy. How's life with your mom? Hey, Lady Ann, we see you. Yes, Zach, I agree with you, and that's what is happening. I encourage my fellow Americans to, stop falling to the leftist trap. They're going to label you a racist, a bigot, and all that. Who cares? Who cares? You love this country. We unite with anybody that loves this country, that no matter where they came from. But it is time. But I will say this: as far as Americans taking to the streets and getting involved right now, I'm highly suggesting do not do that. Do not take the bait. Do not go out there and get involved in this mess. Protect your homeless, protect your families, but don't get involved. Rob R, are you funded by Russia? I love the left, the progressives they're so stupid. That's how you know you win an argument with them, because they'll have nothing else to say. They'll call you a Russian bot or something, funded by Russia. Yeah. No, I'm funded by Soros. Yes, so far, Brent, what we've seen today overall, there has been some small fractions that have attacked police and stuff like that. But for the most part, everything has been peaceful. That's usually how it's been during the day, except one day at night, it gets a little hairy. Last night wasn't so bad. But today, yeah, these people are doing nothing wrong. Whether I agree with them or not, they have every fucking right to do it. No, Rob, my business is love. Your business is hate. I love America. You hate it. That's why my love for America sounds like hate to you, because you hate this place called America. But I don't blame you. You're ignorant and you were told to, and you're not smart enough to have your own opinions and do your own research. So you just parrot what you read without doing any real look, because you're, intellectually lazy. That's why you look at your comments up here and there's no real substance to them. You're just repeating something you heard somebody else say one time. It's not you. There is no you. Yeah, Mel, I'm going to call it for what it is. Today I have not seen, anything too crazy. The minute that we have any form of government step in and tell people that they're not allowed to peacefully assemble or protest, I don't care if I agree with those people or not. I will have their back, because that's exactly what the Constitution says. They have every right to peacefully protest and let their voices be heard. I'm going to draw the line at vandalism and all that. But so far, we have not seen much of that today. Overwhelmingly, people have been okay. California was stolen land. Yeah, more propaganda by the left. That is once again wrong. It was $15 million was given for it. Look it up. Yeah, look at this leftist moron. You're so full of shit. Your ignorance and sycophancy is part of the reason we have a fascist regime. If you had a fascist regime, you wouldn't be able to sit here and type on fucking YouTube that you have a fascist regime. You're an idiot, and your comments are the reason why more and more and more Americans are voting for Donald Trump, his America First agenda. So I beg that you don't change. You're outnumbered. People aren't listening. Your rhetoric and your nonsense isn't working anymore. Calling everyone a fascist and a racist and a bigot and a Russian bot. It isn't working. Everyone's laughing at you. So please don't stop. Just get ready to blame the fascist bigots for fucking 8 years of JD Vance. You leftist moron. Aqua Boss. Yep, if they're here illegally, they got to go. That's what we voted for. That's what we're getting. You can cry in the streets and throw your little poopies at the wall and get so mad. Let the tears flow, liberal left. Let them flow. I've got my coffee cup ready. I'm going to add them every single morning to my coffee. Her name was Lakin Riley, ladies and gentlemen. Jocelyn Nungary. I know Biden couldn't say it, but I never will. You know, I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with you on that Rob's mom's comment, because he definitely seems like one of those types of little crybaby betas. I love those guys, though. Willis Reed, the American Rising Podcast. You need your mouth waxed out because you're asshole for the way you talk about other people and you don't have the clue what's taking place. Yeah, I speak my mind. I don't care about your opinion or way you feel about me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You're entitled to have your opinions. I would question, if you don't like what I have to say, then why are you here listening to it? It's pretty indicative of the left, as they just wake up every morning and go look for things to be mad about. I speak my piece. I have my opinions. I'm not afraid of what you might call me and label me just because you don't like it. I expect your side to be violent because they don't like something they see or hear. I'm just not the guy that's going to entertain you with any fucks. I have zero to give you, Willis, but you're entitled to your opinion, brother. Just know that your hate makes me stronger. Yes, Dreamer, it has been a protest today. There's been small pockets of vandalism and stuff like that, but I not enough for me to judge this and deem it unruly. They've been pretty ruly, and this is a protest, and they have every right to let their voices be heard. Although I don't agree with their message, I do agree with their right to be able to speak it. Thank you there, personal videos. People like Willis don't have anything to say. They only know what they're told. They don't have opinions of their own. So they won't be able to sit here, put themselves out there and talk like I'm talking, because he doesn't have the intelligence to be able to do so. And look, I'm a fucking community college dropout. I am no smart cookie. I don't pretend to be. I am who I am, but I'm just not afraid to put myself out there and have ignoramuses like Willis call me names, and it's not going to deter me. I'm going to be here again tomorrow, Willis, doing the same thing, even louder and stronger than I am now, because you gave me some hope. You gave me some power, because I let my haters be my motivators. I love America. I will not stop loving America. And you will never deter me from doing so. You can call me whatever you want to call me, brother. Just make sure you spell my name right. A draft dodging insurrectionist. Okay, yeah. Again, buddy, November 5th happened. I know you're sad. It's really upset. You're really mad the orange man is back in, but all I really have to say to you is YMCA. Get mad. Get mad. You got a long time to be mad. I'm going to be loving every minute of it. Many of you are funded by Russia. See Tim Pool. Good one, Rob. Yeah, good one. Rob, the man of substance. Fucking idiot. God, I love him. Yeah, XChat is the cool crew for sure. A couple good people here on YouTube, though. Got to give them some credit. But yeah, I love the X people. Or as I'm sure Rob R would call you, oh, you Nazi biggest fascist over there on X. Yeah. That fucking TDS, though, you got to love it, man. These idiots and their Trump derangement syndrome. I'm pretty sure all liberal men have sand in their vagina. Write that down. Quote it out. Lady Ann says there's a lot of cucks in here. I'm sorry about that. I wish I had more control over it, Lady Ann. But go get them, darling. You feel free to hit them up. Yeah, Andrew, we know they're not Trump supporters because, well, A, Trump supporters wouldn't be behaving like fucking street animals, but they'd all be in prison in a heartbeat. Seems like the left gets the pass to act like fucking animals. I saw you in there, lady. Give him hell, darling. I'll tell you right now, to all my patriotic Americans, no matter what you do, no matter what happens to you in your life, never stop trolling the progressive left. A good friend of mine gave me that advice while he was on his surgery bed. We didn't know if he was going to make it out alive, and he just wanted me to know that if he were to die that day, he wanted me to keep trolling the left. And I promised him I would. Fortunately, my boy survived. We can keep trolling the left together. Saw a man with a Pepe the Frog tattoo, and I knew that was going to be my boy. LS Gaming. I want everyone to read that comment because LS Gaming is 100% right. Perspective is everything, but never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. That is true. Art of War, Sun Tzu. Oh, we got Rob with another banger. Baba Booey. I'm starting to think that Rob might be like under 21 years old because he's obviously a idiot. I don't even know why I entertain him. It's just fun for me, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, never stop trolling the left. I'm going to look for another cam. I will say that I do today. I am commending the protesters, though I do not agree with them. They have every right to be out there and have their voices heard. They have not been acting so crazy today. So I commend them for that. LAPD has been, since I've been doing this the last few days, LAPD has been professional from everything I have seen. If I see otherwise, I will say so. But I have not seen that. I have seen them show lots and lots of restraint. I personally would make the argument that they probably showed a little bit too much sometimes, but that's just my opinion. Oh, man. But yeah, I'm going to look for something came over the police scanner that I want to check out. See what's going on over there. I love it how the left, you say something they don't agree with and they go right to, you're a person of hate. You spew hatred. You said something I don't like. God, they're so weak. The left breeds weak men. All right, we got Gavin fucking Newscum. The world's greatest governor, said no one ever.
Violence. I want to be clear.
Got Newscum live.
Incite violence or destroy our communities.
Just a fucking dog and pony show we're watching, ladies and gentlemen.
Criminal behavior will not be tolerated. Full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested, and we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases, and people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Again, thanks to our law enforcement officers and the majority of Angelenos who protested peacefully.
I'm with you, West Republic.
Was winding down and was concentrated in just a few square blocks downtown. But that's not what Donald Trump wanted. He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety.
Nope. He chose to be the man in the room and do the fucking job that your beta male ass can't do.
100 active U.S. Marines. These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery. But we do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces, not in LA, not in California. Not
Thank you, Studio Ward. We're a brand new project.
Unmarked cars in school parking lots, kids afraid of attending their own graduation. Trump is pulling a military dragnet all across Los Angeles, well beyond his stated intent to just go after violent and serious criminals. His agents are arresting dishwashers, gardeners, day laborers, and seamstresses. That's just weakness masquerading as strength.
Lady Ann.
Government isn't protecting our communities. They're traumatizing our communities. And that seems to be the entire point.
That Glenn Greenwald fucking
fighting on behalf of our people, all of our people, including in the courts. Just yesterday, we filed a legal challenge to Donald Trump's reckless deployment of American troops to a major American city. Today, we sought an emergency court order to stop the use of the American military.
Illegal aliens don't have due process. Mel, you should probably, why waste my time?
Only on suspicion or skin color, then none of us are safe. Authoritarian regimes begin by targeting people who are least able to defend themselves.
Yep.
But they do not stop there.
All Trump did was, in his legal constitutional right, was deploy the military to protect federal buildings because of what we saw in 2020 under leadership like Gavin Newsom and that Portland pussy that allowed federal assets to be destroyed by communist street scum that year. So he's not going to put up with it again. And he has every right to protect federal assets and use federal troops to do it. That's all they're there for. So as they spin their propaganda and fuel the flames themselves, blaming Trump, just know America's watching, America knows better, and get ready for 8 years of J.D. Vance, Democrats, because your party is done. You are trashed, and you did it to yourselves.
Accountable for corruption and fraud. He's declared a war on culture, on history, on science, on knowledge itself. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. He's delegitimizing news organizations, and he's assaulting the First Amendment. And the threat of defunding them, at threat, he's dictating what universities themselves can teach.
Willis, man, good one, buddy. Yeah, it's just that when it comes to progressive leftists such as yourself, I'll always try to have dialogue and, have a conversation about and ask you to articulate your points, but you guys are unable to do that. And I fall for the bait every time because you're not actually looking to have a conversation based on actual facts and educational pursuit of doing an educationalized pursuit of doing so, because you're incapable of doing that. You just call everything racist because it's easy to do and prevents you from having to engage and articulate your point because you're unable to do so. So but believe me, I take super offense to all your comments. Please don't make any more. Don't make my engagement go up, please.
But it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault.
Why do MAGA love those kinds of people? Are you serious? You guys are the ones that want to dress and drag in front of little children and put men in women's restrooms and sports. Remember November 5th happened because of your take on those kinds of people. So good luck convincing America that that's the truth. That's the way they voted on November 5th. You people are
The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don. The founding fathers, they didn't live and die to see this kind of moment. It's time for all of us to stand up. Justice Brandeis, he said it best. In a democracy, the most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen. At this moment, we all need to stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully. I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. Your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom is and people like Gavin Newsom are what has destroyed that beautiful state of California. So,
Trump for escalating the protests and
but
the aftermath.
America's not buying it anymore. America, as we saw on November 5th. So all these liberals on here getting all mad and name calling and calling everyone racist and fascists and all that. It's just keep it coming, because I don't want it to stop. I want 8 years of JD Vance.
He talked about some of the people who have been taken into custody by ICE being dishwashers, gardeners, seamstresses, not the violent criminals that President Trump mentioned they would be focusing on when this effort began.
He's addressing the details of the ICE raids, but he took it further. He took it to the broader strokes, hence the title of the event being Democracy at a
Over there on X, ladies and gentlemen, for those that have taken the time to follow at The American Rising, you see it on the title in X. Snuggle H3X is now following. Thank you very much. Take the time to click. We're a new project. For those of you on YouTube, all the lovers and the haters, to give a little background of who I am and what our project is, you are privileged to see the very beginning of our project start. My name is Barry Ramey. I served 3 years in federal prison for January 6th, and I am out now, and I'm on the new War Boys studio owned and operated by the notorious Enrique Tarrio. And we are a brand new project, so liking, subscribing, and sharing is important. We don't want to live in an echo chamber, so I welcome people with contrasting opinions and views. I'm willing to talk to anybody about anything, but if you want to entertain, if you're just going to do what progressive leftists do and just throw little stupid jabs and call people racist because it's a lot of only capable of doing, I'll entertain it for so long and then we'll be moving on. But I am not afraid of opinions that are different than mine. I have friends that are far on the left that I consider a brother, even though we agree on nothing politically. But more often than not, you find that the far left people anyway are incapable of articulating their point because they're just angry people and they don't know why. They don't know why because they were just told to be angry. And most of them don't have an inclination of a free thought, haven't had since they were born. And they read a headline. And that's why most of these idiots still believe that Donald Trump colluded with Russia, even though it was proven that that was a lie. But we welcome them. We welcome them. I welcome difference of opinions. Please like, subscribe, and share. And as we continue to grow and get bigger, we're going to be doing a lot of cool interviews with some really cool people. We just had a guy on from South Korea that was a very interesting story. You can see his interview, South Korea whistleblower from the White Skull Squad. Alfred J. Kim, really good dude. Good to get to know him. But yeah, we'll do a lot of compelling interviews. And yeah, we welcome all. Emails, give us comments, love, hate, death threats, whatever. We welcome it all. Justin, what's going on in Chicago? Same liberal shit, or just Chicago on a daily basis? So those of you just tuning in, we are going back and forth watching the live streams coming out of LA. So far today, it has been fairly peaceful. Overall, it's been peaceful, actually. There's been a few pockets of some outlash towards officers. There's been a lot of vandalism, but overall, most people out there have not been acting like assholes. They've just been letting their voices be heard. And as patriotic, true Americans, well, I know that you guys support that, even if you don't agree with it. We're not the left. We're not hypocrites. So I'm going to go take a look for anything happening in Chicago right now. See if I can find something. And as we've been saying on here, the website nokings.org is planning for nationwide protests, creating a space and ability and a platform for far left progressives to act like the animals that they are. And so we're keeping an eye on that and following them. across the nation as they plan to pop off on June 14th. So I clicked over to Chicago, and it looks pretty peaceful over there too, from what I've found. If anybody has anything, let me know. The Javis Dreamer. I think you're on to something there, dude. The images starting to go through my head are pretty funny, man. That's a good one. So I haven't even clicked over to YouTube. I've never had this many comments on YouTube before. Yes, exactly. Matt Slayton. Trump sent the troops because Newsome let LA burn before. Not only just with the fires, but the fentanyl Floyd riots that we saw. These Democrat politicians in these major metropolis, these Democrat sleazebags, scumholes, they allowed their cities to burn, because of progress. And it's like, fucking for virginity. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said earlier, liberal logic, two words that don't fucking belong next to each other. But that is what Trump is doing. He's taking preemptive steps to protect America, because even though it is a communist cesspool of ignorance, there are still good people in LA, and LA is still a beautiful American city at the end of the day, despite what the Democrats have allowed it to become. And it is an American city. And we did vote for America first. Whether you like it or not, libs, you've had your chances. You have screwed this country over time and time again. And the American people, most of which now aren't even fucking Republican. They're just regular Americans that are fed up with this liberal, far left, progressive ideological shit. And they're not putting up with men and women's bathrooms anymore. The fact that we have to have a conversation about how many genders there are is insanity. But we're not doing this crap anymore. We're not going to allow you to push your liberal agenda that damages the lives of innocent people and children in schools. These sexualized books for kids are not happening anymore. So you can stomp your feet and you can cry and call everyone a bigot, racist that you want to. It's not working. But again, I'll tell you, don't change. We don't want you to change. That is an excellent point. Personal videos, nature, and others, real beauty. When Gavin's mouth moves, lies follow. He cares not. He is sitting safe and protected. Yeah, remember that. Remember the wildfires burning and Gavin sitting in his beautiful fucking mansion. Everything's okay as people's lives are being burned up. This is Democrat management. They've consistently showed who they are, who they will always be. And we have, I think even Democrats are tired of it. They're tired of the shit. And you've seen more Democrats vote Republican in this last election than any other. For all you little liberals on YouTube that are all mad and got your transgender panties in a bunch. Democrats voted for Donald Trump this election, guys. Democrats did too, because not everyone is retarded like your far left counterpart. So yeah, it's an excellent point. Sapo Verde salsa. Try burning cars and throwing rocks at police while waving an American flag in Mexico. How would Mexican authorities treat those people? I would look at the authorities as a breath of fresh air, because let Sinaloa get a hold of you. Yeah, you're gonna wish you stayed in your fucking mother's basement. You overprivileged fat sack of fucking ungrateful lard. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It goes back to liberal logic, man. The same party that put up Queers for Palestine. They're retarded. They're retarded. F you and your biased channel. My channel is only biased because you don't agree with it and you're small-minded and you live in an echo chamber. So anyone that has a difference of opinion of you is scary to you because you're weak. And that's fine. I want you here. Charlie Brown says the propaganda here is wild. Yeah, they've conditioned you to believe that anyone that has a difference of opinion is propaganda. I'd like to know. Give me one here. Here's a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie Brown, show me one thing in the comments that I said was propaganda. I bet you come up with nothing, or you misquote something I said completely. Those are the only two options.
Sorry, Booth, say again.
Agreed.
Nope, not yet. Love it. You got it.
Alex Alberto, dude, listen to yourself. He stood up to your piece of if shit leader. Is that, yeah? If that's what you see in Gavin Newsom, man, well, hey, you're entitled to your opinion. Alex Alberto, look at that. I won't even read it because it's almost unlegible. Obviously, this guy has an education of a I don't know what, probably California school board, but yeah, that's all they are. You say things that they don't agree with, and they lash out at you with hatred and anger and cuss words and insults. They get so angry. It's like inside of them is this little progressive transgender demon that just makes them angry. Like anything of conservative pro-American value, they hear it. Oh, it's a Nazi. Oh, it burns inside. Oh, they're pathetic, man. And yeah, I don't know what a duck sucker is, but I do like duck. It's delicious. Because you are an idiot. Good one, Alex. Yeah, I can see you're a man of much substance. I guarantee you voted for Kamala because you're a weak beta male. I can almost guarantee that your wife and her boyfriend voted for Trump. There you go. Okay, Charlie Brown. It's actually because you're basing your I dead off of your emotions. Okay. No, I mean, I call it how I see it. It is what it is. I understand that a lot of you suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. So if anybody's pro-Trump, you're incapable of hearing any facts or what that person is saying. All you hear is Nazi, 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 Nazi. Because you guys are socially inept to have dialogue. You don't know. No, Jimmy Burke, as far as I can see, you're absolutely right as far as the Western invasion in European countries. It is, I think it, again, here in America, it goes back to the Cloward and Piven strategy. This is a global phenomenon that is real, and it's really happening. You could look at Ireland. You can look at UK is gone. It's fucking gone. It's not coming back, and that's sad. Germany. But you're a racist if you say that. Oh, no. You say something I don't like. I'm mad now. I'm upset. But you're still here, and I'm grateful for you. God bless you all. King Trump 2028 says they won't absorb simple logic. It's true. They won't. That is an excellent point. American 702, anybody buying what Gavin is saying explains why California is in the state of being it is in. Facts. It's facts. I mean, liberalism, at least in the form that it is now in today's society, is it's a toxic virus that takes over the mind. And that's, That's not calling out all liberals. There's liberals that are put it this way: there's a lot of liberals that voted for Trump. Those are real liberals because they understand the Constitution, they understand common sense, and they voted accordingly, and because they were able to put party identity aside and vote on common sense and logic. And yeah, you get a few of these morons on here that'll say, "Oh no, yeah, that's just Nazi." But the reality of it is, their kind is fleeting. People aren't buying it anymore. Oh yeah, there's the Palestinian flag. Gotta love that. See that right there in the middle. Why are you criticizing the Palestinian flag? You're a bigot. Shut up, liberal. Shut up. Yeah, that's the thing. Panda. That's a lot of these idiot Democrats don't even know that. I was in federal prison, and I was talking a lot. There was a black group in there. They were a car. They weren't a gang, but they were a black car in a federal prison. One of the shot caller for that car. His name was, coincidentally, they called him Black. He was a really good dude, and him and I would talk politics all the time, and a lot. He knew all this shit, but him and I would talk about how many black folks didn't understand because of the conditioning from the white Democrat machine. Didn't know that the Democrats were the party of the KKK. The Democrats were the party that wanted to keep slavery. The Democrats were the Confederate Army. It was the Republicans that fought to free slaves. Most Democrats today don't know that. And it's like one of those things, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Because the Democrats have really, really propagandized that slight history, and when they realized they needed the black vote to win at least 80% of it, that's when you see Lyndon Johnson with this whole welfare state, and thus began the downfall of the black community under the Democrat manipulation. And you see more and more proud Americans that realize that shit and are seeing through it and voting accordingly. So it's a good thing. That's why having conversations is so important, but you can't do that with leftists. They're not capable. They're just full of hate and anger, and most of them don't even know why. Yeah, Jimmy, I don't, I'm tired of living in a world where I have to be a racist in order to say that I'm proud to be white. I don't think that's a problem. Only in America can you have, your own schools and clothing lines, movie channels, music ceremonies, colleges, dating sites, still turn around, call everyone racist. But, I still blame white liberals. I think they're the greatest threat to the world. White liberal women specifically, single, unmarried, cat owning white liberal women. They're a fucking poison. Yes, Matt, it's something, a simple conversation they don't want to have, but then you have these low brain functioning, bottom feeding, progressive mouth breathers like Willie Reed here that will read what and they only know how to try to make it a race issue because that's the only thing their feeble little fragile mind understands is, they point at the wall, throw their poopies at it and go racist, because they really can't fundamentally articulate any kind of valid point to their argument because they really have no argument. They're just parroting talking points that they heard throughout their lives, and they've relieved themselves from any hard work of doing research to formulate their own opinions. It's too easy just to hear something that somebody else says and repeat it. So it's a lazy problem. It's a lazy issue. White people denounce white supremacy. I've never pronounced it, so I'm not going to denounce it at all. I'm not, what is white supremacy? Me being okay with living in my white skin? Is that white supremacy to you? If you're talking about me believing in a white takeover of the world, I'm off to a really shitty start considering I'm with a Latino woman. But you know, I digress. But you know, fucking, what is white supremacy? What idiots and nincompoops like Rob R. and Willis Reed call white supremacy is any opinion that is against theirs. That's white supremacy. You know, if you know but if we're saying that, hey, just to be proud to be white, or say that all lives matter, is white supremacy, then I think you know, you're just an idiot like Willis Reed. And I don't I've stopped allowing that to affect me as a person. I am an American supremacist 100%, and I've got Black and Latino brothers and sisters that are also American supremacists, and they are with me. It's the left that wants to make everything about race and then blame you like you're the one that did it. It's a communist Marxist tactic, and it's not working anymore. All right. So, yeah, I've been looking at Chicago, and honestly, Chicago looks a little normal. Surprisingly, use those two words together, Chicago and normal. All right, we've got the shittiest mayor in the world back on flapping her mouth, pretending like she's doing something, or pretending like she even knows what to do. But if you've been following anything about Karen Bass, you know she is a very ignorant person. We're going to go over to her and see what she's got to say.
Have one assignment, and that is to protect one building, which is the federal building downtown. The second building, which is the federal building on Westwood Boulevard.
Shout out to all the people watching the stream on X.
So this was
you guys are killing it.
The idea that the administration would usurp the authority,
or unaliving it, I should say.
Government, take it away from our governor, Gavin Newsom. The governor knows that if we put a request in for the National Guard and it went to him, he would comply. There was never an issue there because we were never thinking.
How racist of you! I'm with an illegal because my wife's Puerto Rican. First of all, Puerto Rican's American territory, you dumbass. How racist of you! Liberals will always show how racist they truly are. Fucking morons.
And we have the sheriff's department, and so we have received assistance from the California Highway
Trump loves your kind, the poorly educated.
Orange
Yeah,
County,
well,
San Bernardino,
hey.
Riverside, Santa Barbara, Ventura
Yeah,
County,
maybe
and
you're right.
a number of law enforcement.
You so-called educated
around the
people have
county.
had control of the
So
country,
with
and you
him,
destroyed it.
being
So
fully
I guess it's
deployed
up to
now,
us uneducated people to fix what you educated people have done to this great nation. And you damn right we're here to do it.
When people splinter off
Yes, good point there, Jimmy. Everybody loves big booty Latinas. Big booty Latinas can stay. Shout out to all my big booty Latinas out there. We love you.
This is for the administration to stop the raids.
Especially you, baby.
Raids might take place for the next 30 days. We don't know how many are going to take place in a given day. And you just think about the disruption to families and the disruption to our
No, you're a
economy.
white MAGA
You might have a
extremist.
mother who
You're
goes to work
you're
in someone's
attacked
home,
the
doing
Capitol.
childcare,
Spelled Capitol
taking care
wrong.
of the household,
You're again not
father
right
who
context.
is the gardener or the
Rare.
landscaper,
You forgot about that,
and people
homie.
without
You got to
jobs
really
who
get
are
an
running
education,
small
man.
businesses,
I would,
contributing to
you know,
our
you're not
economy
making a
in
good
every
point,
step of
you
the
know,
way.
for yourself
So
because
I
you,
just wanna conclude by saying we are
you sound like a very ignorant person, and based upon what you're talking about and how you're talking about it, I think it's safe to assume that
They
you
are talking
are.
about spending over $100
But you thought
million
Kamala was a
with this deployment,
candidate, so
which
that's,
is
you
why
know.
I say that I feel like we've all been
Karen
in Los
fits the name,
Angeles
bro. Matt, you're
part of a
absolutely
grand
right. It
experience
sure does.
to see what happens
when the federal
it's government decides
even though Lori
to
Lightfoot was
roll up
way
their sleeves,
uglier. Like,
roll
I
up
mean,
their
Karen Bass is a pretty ugly woman, but Lori Lightfoot, that is one Chicago's ex-mayor, Beetlejuice. Oh my God, that is what is one of the most ugliest human beings I've ever seen. And You
only limited to a few streets.
I call Karen Bass the Timu version of Lori Lightfoot, if you can even imagine that. Because like she's worse than fucking Lori Lightfoot, if you can even imagine that.
What is your plan to bring calm to the city?
Well, first of all, when
Wealthfront offers a cash account
Here we
that
go.
has one of the highest interest rates on the market.
If I send my money to wealth.
the vandalism, especially the graffiti,
The
has happened
vandalism.
kind of outside of that.
Oh, the
But
vandalism
nevertheless,
that
we're
I'm
trying to counter the
responsible
image
for.
that this is
Yeah, I don't see any
happening all
MAGA
over
supporters
the
out
city
there running
because
around
it is
looting
not.
and
And so we do want
and
law enforcement to respond aggressively.
tearing shit up.
Anybody that is
Just to
out
be
committing
clear, there wasn't
crimes
too much of
are
that
not doing it
today,
in solidarity with
but
immigrants.
the
They're
past
doing
few
the
days have been
exact
horrific.
opposite. So we have to
But that is
enforce
to
the
be
law here.
expected
I
from
will
anything that
continue
the progressive
advocating
left
with
touch.
the federal government, though, to see how disruptive this is. But there needs to be a call that says this is unacceptable, and if you engage in this behavior, you will be prosecuted. Now we're looking at things like curfews. We're looking at other aggressive response.
Damn, it's already
that we
10
can
o'clock
have
my
in
time, huh?
case,
All right, so it's
this violence breaks
gonna
out.
start getting dark over in LA soon, and that's when we seen that shit gets a little hairy.
Well, I do think that they are, but I
Freaks
do
come
think
out at
that
night.
we need to be in terms of prevention. And I don't mean aggressive in terms of engaging with the crowd, but there's things that you can do to prevent. So I had a brief conversation with the chief this morning about a curfew. So we will be meeting about that later.
Fish and Frank 92, 8.5 Latinas and above get a green card. Dude, got my vote 100%. I am all about it. Here's what's funny for these little beta male liberals up here whining and crying because they've got sand in their vagina. Fun fact: this will get their feathers roughed up. I'm gonna take it to their favorite topic, race. Fun fact about federal prison:
Well, that doesn't mean that I will stop.
whenever
I know that
shit
is
hits
not
the
gonna
fan,
stop. But on
the
the other hand,
Mexicans
you just
and the
said 60
whites they
days,
team
somebody
up.
else is gonna say
They
30,
get together and
somebody
they
else is gonna
fight
say
with each
90.
other,
The
and they
bottom line
become
is
brothers.
we don't
The
know.
Serenos and the
And
Aryan
that is
Brotherhood
consistent
and any
with
of the
ICE
white
raids.
and
Of
Hispanic
course, we
cars
never know
underneath
when,
them.
we never know
If
how
ever
long.
shit
But
hits the
that
fan, the
very
prison system,
notion
whites and
creates such
Mexicans
a
become
terrible
friends
sense
instantly. It's
of
a pact
fear
that's been around
in
for
our
a long
city, and
time.
it's just not
So
right to do
I
that
know
to
these
a
little
population who's
beta
trying to
pussies
survive.
are too busy
We are a
reading
city of
pages out of their homosexual vegan poetry books to know what I'm talking about. But it's so funny because these little idiots make everything about race.
money, as I
But
understand it, that they were going to spend on the troops.
they're some of the most
on the
racist
station.
people out
Maybe
there.
that's what you're referring to. They don't need to spend it themselves. So I could not even imagine that they would come here and ask us to reimburse their unnecessary expense.
Willis
Just
Reed,
imagine
yeah.
what we could do
No,
with
yeah, your friend's an
$130
idiot.
in
I
terms
was
of
on the
repairing our city
outlaw
for the
motorcycle
world.
car, so I didn't have to worry about nothing.
Exactly.
You
No, LA cannot afford it.
no PC over here, buddy. But yeah, I mean, you guys see, I've tried to have a conversation with you and ask you to articulate your points, but the only thing you're interested in doing, because the only thing your ignorant, small, bottom-feeding, mouth-breathing mind can do is try to instigate an argument and create chaos and tear things down instead of building on dialogue, even though we don't agree, just to have a conversation. And maybe we can come to grounds and maybe see things different in life because you and I decided just to have a civil conversation. But an individual like you, you're small-minded, you're bottom, you're low to the ground, both mentally and probably physically, and you don't have the capacity to entertain something like that. So you'll come back on here and make little jabs, but the reality of it is I'm entertaining it because you're making my engagement go up. So, like I said, don't stop doing what you're doing.
But you also, it's very important to understand that it takes FEMA a long time. We're still looking for some reimbursements from COVID. And that didn't have anything to do with this administration.
Yeah, if Trump did not posture with the National Guard, you can best believe that this would be so much worse than it is. This city would be burning as it has done so many times before under this Democrat type leadership. So kudos to the Trump administration for being the man in the room, having the testicular fortitude to say, no, Gavin Newsom, your beta male ass is not going to destroy this state. I'm going to protect it. So good to have an adult back in the White House.
have been in conversation with
The men are back, not the beta sissy boys.
And what he is deciding to do, I know he's deciding to protect the children. You know that a month ago or 2 months ago, ICE agents showed up to an elementary school to do a welfare check on some kids. It's very interesting that you would send federal officers in to check on elementary school kids. But I know he's also dealing with the fear from the parents. So, for example, at my grandson's school yesterday, there was ICE that was visible.
Man, that is one weird-looking lady. She's like a demon or something, man, like a little monster. Like if you were walking around the woods at night, first question would be, what are you doing walking around the woods at night? But second, if that thing popped out, that little weird leprechaun look, and started running at you full speed screaming, I'd be a little concerned. Is that Colin Kaepernick signing for her? He could finally find a new job. Is he employed again? Yeah, that's Colin Kaepernick. Look, he found the job, ladies and gentlemen.
From the LAPD perspective, that will not happen.
Oh, the leftists getting mad. It must suck to actually be them. All the crap and lies they spewed for 8 years about Donald Trump just for the American people to go put him in the White House because they realized the left sucks so bad. What a great time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen.
In the morning, which was in Paramount, but downtown Saturday night, and the president tweeted out that
KRWD, totally worthless, DEI mayor, and even dumber governor. It's a never-ending battle of stupidity with these people. Yeah, you know, KRWD, to your point, you're absolutely right. And it goes back to what I was saying. We don't have a politician problem. We have a people problem. The politicians properly represent the people of their district. So it's not a politician problem. It's a people problem. But you're absolutely right, and I agree with you 100%.
Absolutely not. I mean, my guess is that you have social media phenomena that calls for parties, that calls for street takeovers, and I think it's in the same vein. What I do believe very strongly is that the groups that are vandalizing downtown are not a part of the immigrant rights movement.
I agree with that.
Concerned about immigrants.
I agree with that statement 100%. I think she's 100% right.
Our immigrant rights organizations that have been institutions, well-established, well-respected institutions in our city for decades, are used to doing protests. They are very well organized and coordinated, and they don't tolerate the violence. Yesterday's demonstration that was put on by labor, especially in solidarity with David Huerta, they had a system there where they wouldn't let people in a certain area if they had a mask on. My point is that we know how to take care of these issues ourselves. And then when you said about how the reason why, you know, things have gotten under control because of the National Guard, I gave you an example where the National Guard wasn't even here, and he was tweeting that out. The other thing is that if you want to know what the National Guard is doing, drive by the Federal Building. They are stationary at the Federal Building, protecting the building. They are not out doing crowd control or anything like that. So I don't know how he could say that the National Guard is who saved the day. Who saved the day are our local law enforcement agencies. Well, on Friday, I was notified when the raids were happening. I was notified, there were 3 raids in the city of Los Angeles. There might have been some others I've heard about that were outside of the city that day. And I heard about it when the Rapid Response Network began notifying people that a raid was taking place. And then at that point, the family members know, hey, my son, my father, my spouse is working at this place. And then they start showing up. So that's when I heard about it. And then shortly after that, you began hearing from the administration. The National Guard issue came into play on Friday as well as Saturday. That's when I was talking to officials with the Trump administration, including Tom Holman. I spoke to him maybe about an hour before he said if I got out of line or the governor did, we'd both be arrested.
Liar.
Right.
KRWD, got your comment up there.
I
I
appreciate that
agree with
question.
you, and we've
Ironically,
actually
the
seen
IOC
signs of
was here
that.
last
I
week.
believe it was
And so I met
yesterday,
with them directly,
where an individual was
for
seen
that
on camera passing
panel
out these
with them.
masks
And
that
we
are
were
sold
talking
at
then
Walmart.
about how
They're
vast
ballistic
our city
masks.
is and how if
They're
something
about
happens in
$48
one
to
area,
$58.
doesn't mean
They're on
it's
the
happening
Walmart
all
website, but they
around
had
the city.
boxes
So it's a
upon
little ironic
boxes.
we were having
They're
that
seen on video. There
conversation.
is video
I have
circulating
not talked to
of
them
them passing
directly
them
since
out.
then. Needless to say, my focus has been on
NoKings.org
keeping
is a
Angelino
group of
safe
Marxist liberal
and protected.
shitbags that are putting on a June 14th nationwide protest to counter protest us Americans celebrating the 250-year anniversary of the greatest army on earth. So that's what they're pissed off and got their panties in a bunch this time. So yeah, they are planning and organizing. These are organized. A lot of these are paid agitators.
What I'm
We're
thinking
just
is
hoping
yes,
that
because there's no
with the
need for it to
exposure
be
of U.S.
anything other
aid,
than that.
that
It's
we're going to see
important
their
to
money
reiterate that what
sources
is happening is
fizzle
not
out.
happening. It's not even happening in the entire downtown area. So there would be no need for a citywide curfew. But again, this is just preliminary discussions. It's one thing to say a curfew. Then
You know,
have to
Robert,
enforce
I agree with you. I agree with you, but I think that's why Trump is different. Promises made, promises kept. We know what we voted for. He did everything he said he's going to do, and so I think he's a lot different. But I do agree with your sentiment on
Well, I
both
wish
sides of
I
the
could say
aisle,
and not have to
Republicans
worry
and
about it.
Democrats. They're
But,
not any
we're
different in
coming
that matter.
together. I spoke to business leaders this morning saying that we need to come together, not just to talk, but come together with a plan on how we're going to repair the damage that has taken place and understand that it's going to take everybody. It's going to take the private sector, obviously the city. The city workers are already out there, and they've been out there for hours, and they've been out there for the last couple of days. But I know if you've driven around downtown, you know how massive this is. So the city workers are going to need assistance as well. But also, general
Thank you to those that
citizens.
just took the
I
time to
think
follow
everybody
on
is
X.
concerned about downtown. I think people need to come from all different parts of the city to join us in repairing the damage that has taken place.
What's your explanation of why this is happening in Los Angeles? I live in Miami. I've been all over the country. I haven't seen this in any other place. Why is it happening here? Many people think that Los Angeles is a pretty brave city to say things.
Yeah, all you good people on X that just gave me a follow. Thank you. You see the handle right
honest
there.
with
It's a
you,
brand
I
new
don't
page. We're a
know,
brand new show. We're a
especially
brand new
considering
project.
the
The
relationship
American Rising
that was
Podcast. I'm your
developing
host, Barry
before
Ramey.
this. The
On
only
X
thing I
at
can think
the
of, and that's why I
American
keep going
Rise.
back
All you
to,
all
I
you
think we're
YouTube
an
people I
experiment.
see.
Because if you can do this to the
Except for you
nation's
guys that
second
voted for
largest city,
Kamala, don't
maybe
subscribe. I don't want
the
to do it. She
administration
sucks.
is hoping that this will be a
Subscribe.
signal to
You're
everybody
patriotic,
everywhere to
America
fear them.
loving
That your
individual.
federal government that
America first.
historically has
You're my
protected
people.
you
I
can
can
come
guarantee
in
you
and
that.
take over. No, but I'm gonna put.
It is so funny. It is so much fun seeing the left crumble. It's looking at all their little meltdown comments on YouTube.
Stop the raids. I
So
want to tell
good.
him that this
So
is a
good.
city of immigrants.
Love it.
I want to tell him that if you want to devastate the economy of the city of Los Angeles, then attack the immigrant population. I want to tell him, don't you want the World Cup to be a success?
Can you
a success
DM me
for
some?
you?
I've heard
Well,
this.
if
I've
that's
heard
what
people
you
say
want,
that.
give us help. Give us the $130 million that
DM
are
me
being
some
used
articles
for
about
no
that.
reason.
I'd like to take a look
Wasting
into this
taxpayers' money.
while,
Give us
while,
that money
while this
so
is
that we can get
going
prepared.
around, because
for
I
the
did
World
hear this
Cup next
earlier
year.
today as well. And those masks do come specifically from Walmart. I've never been in Walmart and seen a ballistic mask, so that's a little weird. But it is on their website. That I did confirm.
No. What I said is that I have not, period, reached out
Deciphering
directly to President
DC.
Trump.
Thank you for the
My
follow on X.
conversations with people either in the
I'll get back a little later. Start
or
following
close
some
to the
people back.
administration have been continuing. I've not spoken
Yeah, that's what
to,
I heard, lady. Around 60
Mr.
apiece.
Holman again, But I think those conversations are still going on.
Jax, that's what I keep hearing. I'm looking into it to confirm it, but I keep hearing this over and over again. And these ballistic masks they got caught handing out the other day specifically come from Walmart.
Absolutely.
So there is some evidence.
Well, first of all, again, the National Guard's mission
Absolutely.
is to
Follow the
protect
masks
federal
and the
building.
bricks.
That's why I said that we're in discussion as to whether or not there should be a curfew. All of those things will help their business.
Thank you very much. Mayor Bass, obviously you brought up Border Czar Tom Homan. He's always admonished sanctuary cities. I'm wondering if you feel as if Los Angeles is being targeted because it is a sanctuary city. And in that same vein, if you have a message for Boston, Denver, Chicago, who could experience the exact same thing you're going through right now here in Los
Well, first of all, the state of California is a sanctuary state. So this could have happened basically to any of the cities. Now, cities, some have adopted the policy, but it is state policy. And so, yes, my concern with those cities that you named is look out. This could happen to you. And if I'm not mistaken, at least a couple of those cities, I think it's Denver and Boston, have already been hauled in to
Mickey Munitz on X. You're absolutely right. And then it's what the best part is seeing these little leftist beta male shitbags try to convince you that you're wrong for having this opinion. But you're absolutely right. That's what the left does. They expect everyone to clean up their poop and their fucking mess. They want to be able to shit and vomit and destroy their streets and then have you, the American people, clean it up. And November 5th, we took a big middle finger to the progressive left and we said, no more trash baskets. No more.
Well, Dave, yes, we did know about it, like anything else, when it was occurring. We knew about it.
Sun is beginning to set in LA. This is when the animals come out.
I have as well, that street vendors were arrested, that they went in and arrested or detained street vendors. But in terms of what the city can do to protect public properties, you know that we have no idea where they're going.
Jax, I was looking for some Chicago footage in live streaming. I couldn't find it, but I did hear, and I am seeing some highlights of some riots breaking out in Chicago.
Yesterday morning, meeting with the immigrant rights organizations, and all of a sudden everybody's cell phones started blowing up. That's when we all heard about a raid that was taking place in Whittier. So part of the uncertainty and the instability that this creates is that we don't know. It's kind of like whack-a-mole. So if the city hears of something, they will go to it, but there is no capacity that we could monitor all of the public facilities.
For our understanding, for example, if ICE shows up at the city side, the aquatic center, whatever, does the city ask them to produce a warrant? Do they ask if they have a warrant to go onto the property?
Well, we can ask that, but at the end of the day, it would be very difficult for city staff to tell armed ICE agents that they can't come in somewhere. Nick? I'm sorry. I'm going to call on you.
I was going to say, the federal military is now confined. What would be the implications if they step beyond the
Okay, instead of listening to the world's ugliest DEI mayor flap her mouth about absolutely nothing, we're going to go over, I found some stuff on Chicago, so we're going to take a look at Chicago right now and see what's going on. Of course, you hear the Black Lives Matter thing. Guess that's back now. Yay. Jack says Trump just won the court case California filed. Do you think that's going to change the way National Guard handles this now? I don't think so, because they're only there to protect federal assets. Now, if these communist Marxist trash bags go towards the federal building and think they're going to do what they did at Portland in 2020 during the fentanyl Floyd riots, they got another thing coming. As we say in a little group known as the Proud Boys, fuck around and find out. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But I hope it doesn't. I don't want to see that happen. I really don't. But that's all they're there to do, is to protect federal assets. The commie trash baskets, Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, they want you to believe that Trump has deployed the National Guard there to patrol the streets. That is not true. Trump only sent them there, which is 100% within the realms of the constitutional law, just to protect federal buildings, only because we've seen what they did in 2020. So I don't think it's going to change anything because that's all they're there to do. I really hope I don't want to see any parent lose a child if their child decides to act like a street animal and attack one of the federal buildings with the National Guard there, because they're not going to place people under arrest. And I don't want to see that to happen. I don't wish that on anybody. $30 million in donations. KRWD, my friend. I believe I want to reconfirm this, but it's definitely at least 68. It might be as high as $98 million that is completely missing in action from the BLM fund. Patrice Colors, if you're out there, you might actually be watching me because I know how much you love Enrique Tarrio. Yeah, you're a real Marxist trash basket. I'm going to disagree with you that America is in a bad place right now. America was in a bad place 140 days ago under Joe Biden. We are getting to a better place. We have Democrats starting bad problems because that's what they do. But I think we're in a much better place with the administration we have in the office. Look, see that little skinny beta male right there with the hat causing problems? Real men, don't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be signing off due to another situation that we are going to cover. Please take the time to follow at The American Rise. I will be back in a few hours to follow this Chicago coverage. Set your notifications so you can know when we come back. We have an emergency, and we got to go cover it. Warboy Studios, American Rising. Barry Ramey, I'm out.